Hope you're able to see my screen also. Can you just confirm once? Are you able to see my screen? Okay, all right. So let us get started. Okay. So once again, very warm welcome to all of you for this monthly webinar. We will take you through the embedded systems course demo and also answer all your queries about this particular course, right? So my name is Jay Kumar. I'm one of the key leadership team member in the Emertxe. So before we start, I always ask this curious question. Can you just quickly type your place where you are joining this webinar from and your year of passout? Can you just type the place where you are joining and also your year of passout, so that I get to know which batch of people are joining today? Okay, we have people joining from Odisha, 2021, 2022 people are joining in. Okay, then we have Lipun, 2015, then Vishal, then we have Hemant, is a 2023 passer, okay, he's 1 year ahead. And then Ranjit, 2019, Karthik, 2023, okay, and then 2023, 2020, 2023, okay, great. Okay, we could see 2018, Guru, Abhay, Nandakumar. Okay, we have people joining from Finland, Ranjita, 2021. Okay, great. We have a very good mixture of students. Okay, so thanks for sharing your information. So let us get started with the presentation. Okay, so this particular slide basically I will run through, and we will stop by at a interval so that you can ask questions, and then we can move forward. And it's not necessary that you need to wait for me to basically ask the questions. As and when you are getting your questions, you can keep typing in the chat window, and I'll be able to answer them. Okay, so no need to wait. Okay, so just to give a brief about Emertxe, we are an edtech company. We've been in this education business for the past 18 plus years. At a high level, we are operating in 3 technology areas. One is embedded systems. Second one is Internet of Things or IoT. Third one is on full stack web development. Those 3 are the technology areas that we focus. And our courses are primarily targeted toward 2 set of audience. One set of them is for people who have completed their engineering and looking out for a job in the core sector. For example, people do not get opportunity to attend interviews or get opportunities with companies working in telecommunication, semiconductors, robotics, etc. Right? And even if they get most of them will end up getting opportunity in the IT companies. They may want to switch over to the core or the electronics side of it, right? So we train people in a long-term immersive hands-on training programs, both in the online and also in the offline mode, and we make them employable. Okay, that's what we do. And not only that, we also train people who are experienced people. That's where the upskilling comes into picture, who want to resume their career in embedded. And I'm seeing a lot of people who are from older batches. For example, somebody might have passed out in the year 2015, 16. They might have taken their career break due to some reasons. They want to resume their career in the field of embedded systems. So we upskill them, and we help them to reposition their careers by seasoning up their resumes and improving their skill set, and then helping them to come to the core job. So that's what we do as an organization. And irrespective of the approach, any kind of course we do, our approach remains the same. As you can see the picture below, the pot and the hand, it pretty much we make it hands-on, because learning by doing is what majorly missing in today's academia. If you look at all of you, will have a very good academic records. You would have scored well in your engineering. The reason is why still there is an employability challenge. It's mainly because majority of the skill set that you learned is in theoretical format. You will not getting an opportunity to learn things in a practical fashion. That's where we pitch in. We provide hands-on practical training and make you employable. So that's a approach we take. And there is also question here. Please tell me the difference between can apply, only can apply. I don't know, Ashutosh, there's a question, and Manoj is asking, I have 2 years gap. Can I join Emertxe? Manoj, just give me some time. I'll show you some success stories with people who have achieved from various categories of students. So then they will definitely answer your questions. And you don't need to wait. Please keep typing questions. We'll take it up as and when we cost, right? And just to talk about our organization, the three of us part of the leadership group. Mr. Maz, who is the founder and managing director of this organization, and myself, Jay Kumar, as I already mentioned. And we have Mr. Mubin, who is the technology head, and he leads the technology delivery by heading a team of mentors. And he should be joining us. He said he will join a little late. He will be walking you through basically the course demo, how the learning management system will look like, how you'll get a support, especially when you're trying to learn online and also learning something like an embedded system. There is always challenge about how do we access hardware, how do we clarify my doubts, right? And also how do we get support, how do we apply placements. There are a lot of questions that people who are aspiring to take up our online course will have. So he will walk through our system and then provide you with the necessary clarification. Okay. So just before going, just a brief about myself. I spent about 12 and a half years in my initial part of my career working with 3 different organizations. Started my career with a startup called Ishoni Networks. Worked there for about 2 years in the embedded networking space. Then moved on to Hewlett Packard, where I was part of their the inkjet printer firmware group, where I played various roles like senior engineer, lead engineer, project and program manager. I was with HP for about 7.5 years. And after that, I moved to Huawei. I spent about 3.5 years. I was heading their embedded Linux group, where my team was involved in customizing Linux for various hardware that is Huawei was building. As you know, Huawei makes a lot of telecommunication and networking products. So after spending 12.5 years, I find my passion towards education and also wanted to do something on my own. That's when I joined Emertxe. Emertxe is started by Mr. Maz, who is my friend. So we stayed connected, and I made my transition from corporate to the entrepreneurial world. Okay, that's what I do. And in Emertxe, my primary responsibility is on the placement side. I lead the placements team and also handle some responsibilities in the business side. So that way, before we get into the technical side of the course, we will talk about the latest placement updates, what is happening. If you see, even the initial set of questions that are coming in, right? Majority of them are coming around the placement side. So we will clarify with some data points about the placement, and then subsequently we can get into the course demo part of it. Okay. There are a lot of questions coming in. Madhu is asking, online and offline are effective. Where is the location? Vedashree is asking, and Vishal is asking, there is a Gira Paso. Do you teach, what is called ARTAs? A lot of questions coming in. Just keep them coming. I'll come back and pick it up in a short time. So coming to the placement companies, some of you might have already seen, we have a very strong portfolio of companies in the core segment, companies which are startups, mid-sized organizations, and then either the India-based big organizations like, for example, L&T, or the MNCs like Qualcomm, NXP, Honeywell, Sharp, right? All the type of organizations are hiring our students, right? We have, I would say, about 1,200 plus companies which are participating, and especially if I'll show the statistics shortly. The year 2022 has been really, really exceptional, where the placements are going very well because we're doing kind of 100 plus companies are visiting every month. Today is like the 4th month of this year, right? Consecutively, if you look at Jan, Feb, March, and April, we are always consistently hitting 100 plus companies, right? So if you look at mathematically, 22 days of working and then 100 companies visiting, that means there's an average, 4 to 5 companies are visiting on a daily basis, right? So in fact, we are finding hard to schedule the interviews for our students, right? We can only schedule to some extent, right? They're not able to schedule so many interviews. That's a challenge we are facing. So the main reason behind why these many companies are recruiting our students is mainly because of the skill development they will achieve, as a part of their course in Emertxe. Anyways, we'll talk about it extensively, right? So this is the type of companies. And if you look at, startup companies, there are a lot of companies in the new age segments like electric vehicles, robotics, IoT, these type of companies are also hiring, right? So then we talk about, this is a snapshot. You can see in our social media, you can see in our website, right? A lot of organizations, and the list keeps on growing. Okay? So before we start getting into the details, right? We'll talk about why there are so many jobs. As I mentioned, this is my ninth year in Emertxe. In these 9 years, I have not seen so many placements happening in Emertxe. Okay? We used to do, I will show you statistically. We used to do roughly around, let us say, 25 to 30 drives. That has been our benchmark. If you see 2020, especially before the pandemic. Now it's like I would say tripled. Into 3 times we are doing. And what are the key reasons why there are so many jobs in the market, right? So that's what we need to understand. So let me show you 5 reasons according to us why there are so many jobs, right? Okay. So the first and foremost reason is, right, if you look at premium engineering colleges in India, be it an IIT, NIT, or in your state wise, there would be some number 1, number 2 college, right? If you look at these MNCs, who are working predominantly in the core segment, right? So they've been going and doing campus recruitment. Okay? If you look at predominantly the services companies like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Tech Mahindra, L&T, they are the companies of Cognizant, HCL. So they are the ones who go to tier 2 colleges, right? So these premium, core companies used to go to these premium engineering colleges and hire. Okay? So that is changing significantly, mainly due to the changes happening in the Indian startup scenario. If you look at 4 or 5 years back, somebody came and told join a startup. That was not a very popular scenario. But India has become a world of startups. Especially Bangalore has been the head of all the technology action happening in India. And not only that, people are started seeing a lot of success story with respect to startups, right? For example, if you look at 4 or 5 years back, somebody would have come and told you a concept like food delivery, right? You not even thought much, what about food delivery, right? But if you look at today, food delivery is part of our life, right? And similarly, imagine 6, 7 years back, somebody would have come and told you, right, hey, can you order a cab, or can you book a taxi using an app like an Uber or Ola? We will not have, believed in it, right? But today, if you look at those things have become popular. And not only that, if you look at the payments, right, how we do using Paytms and, phone pays and tons of applications. So these are all the companies where today the, engineering students from the premium companies are going. Okay. So where they're really, really offering skyrocketing and sometimes, unrealistic salaries. Anyway, that's a different topic altogether. So what is happening because of this reason? Earlier, these, companies used to go to tier 1 colleges and make some offers, but majority of the students used to join, right? Nowadays, it's become reverse, right? For example, they make 10 offers, let us say, right? Around 7 will join because 3 will go to higher studies or something like that. That was the scenario, right? Now the scenario is entirely different where they make 10 offers, right? Only 3 of them are joining, 7 of them are not joining because they're going and joining startups, going and joining Zomato's or Swiggy's of the world, which is proving out to be a very strong success story for them, right? On the contrary, these core companies cannot go to a tier 2 college because if they go to tier 2 college, they will not be able to get a skill of, embedded systems. The IT companies can go. If you look at, IT companies, they go and recruit in bulk, right? If you look at a company like TCS or Infosys, right? They go and hire in bulk because the skill requirement predominantly by these service organizations or the IT companies are something like which they can, recruit, fast, train also fast, right? That's why they hire in bulk. But a domain like embedded systems or IoT or even for that matter VLSI design, it's not something somebody can easily skill themselves up. It requires real amount of time. Or another way to look into it is let's just look into the number of training institutions we have for these technologies, right? Just go and see how many training institutes are there for Java, how many training institutes are there for embedded systems, right? You cannot compare. The number would be very less, right? Even if you look at a city like Bangalore, the number of embedded training institutes, the genuine ones, you can really count using your fingers, right? Okay. So maximum 3 or 4, that's the numbers we're talking about, right? So that's the reason why these MNCs are preferring, to recruit from institutes like us, right? And a tech company like us. Now I'll show you some success stories, what our students are achieving. And we are getting continuous requests from these companies to only supply more people. We are not able to cater. That's the scenario now. Today, the scenario I'm talking about Saturday, right? I was in talk with my placement team. You don't believe me? They send me 8 companies list. 8 today, right? 8 companies where we have not got any application from our students. 8 companies none of our students applied. That's the problem we are facing now. Why? Because, they're already attending so many interviews, right? So many opportunities, right? By the time one gets one, another one piled up, right? There are too many opportunities are, coming for our students. Okay? In a way, it's a good problem to have because opportunities are knocking your door. So in summary, I would say there is no better time than, getting into a core job as of now. Okay, this is a beautiful time. Everything has fallen in place. It's just a matter of skilling yourself up, right? The second scenario, as you all know, especially after the pandemic, right? The work from home has become quite normal, which means to say, even today, companies are not 100% functional. They are all working from home from various cities, various towns of India, right? People who are based out of West, right, who used to typically outsource or get their work done from India, either that could be a service company or let us say a product company like Qualcomm or Emertxe or Robert Bosch, where they need to get the work done from India. Earlier, they were not comfortable. They had some concerns about getting their work from a remote team. Now that everybody is remotely working, right, among themselves, right, they are all getting comfortable. So because of this reason, also more work is moving to India. Okay? And not only that, there are certain macroeconomic, trends or, scenarios that is happening, which is favoring more for an Indian technical talent. For example, the pandemic has created, right, what people think about China these days, right, which is acting as a positive factor. And another one, which is an unfortunate factor, but still it is, acting out positive factor for us, right? I was in a talk with a company, who are, who got a requirement of about 200 people team, to start in Pune, mainly because they were getting the work done from Ukraine, right? Okay, the team was sitting there. And what's happening in Russia, Ukraine, right? It's been almost 2 months, and I don't see there is any signs of that is coming to an end. And within the country, almost all the citizens have, deserted. They're just struggling for their life, right? What are we talking about? Embedded software development, right? So all these factors are adding more, where every company today, they wanted to recruit more, but unfortunately, they're not able to fill up their numbers. It's not that the quantity is in supply, problem, because in India we have lakhs and lakhs of graduates coming out every year, right? But the gap is with respect to skill. That's going to be the talk, right? So this is the second reason why there are so many jobs that we are talking about, right? Okay. Then third one, you may hear about these new age technologies or domains, be it machine learning, artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, or even for that matter, the robotics or industrial automation, right? All these, applications or use cases, whatever you are hearing from outside, right? End of the day, they're all dependent on data, right? For example, you talk about machine learning. Machine learning is entirely dependent on data. And where is this data is going to generate it from, right? It's going to generate it from, a sensor or a particular device, right? So which means to say, even though it is not looking very much, media hyped information like what you get to see with respect to machine learning and artificial intelligence, image processing based applications, etc. But predominantly, they're all powered by embedded systems. So because there is a surge, there is a huge amount of use cases coming in artificial intelligence, machine learning, it is also adding up new jobs in the embedded system side or in the core side. Okay. And if you talk about electric vehicles, right, there is a huge transformation happening there, both in the two-wheeler segment and in the four-wheeler segment, even though there have been some negative news about, bikes catching fire in the recent past. But if you look at predominantly, that is where the world is heading to, right? And if you look at the Indian automotive companies, right, who are predominantly supplying four-wheelers, or some of them are doing two-wheelers using the traditional, your gasoline engine, right? They're all transitioning to electric vehicles. So, for example, Mahindra Electric, right? Mahindra, they have got a lot of automotive or the manufacturing both in the two-wheeler and also in the four-wheeler, right? They have created a new organization called the Mahindra Electric, which was hired, I think, about 6-7 students last week, right? Which is every company is transitioning into an electric bike company, right? You name, Ola Electric or Ether Energy, I just watching today's match just before this, IPL, right? I follow cricket. If you look at, the Gujarat Titans team, right? They're sponsored by Ether. I don't know how many of you seen the IPL, right? So what I'm saying, the electric vehicle is becoming a, mainstream phenomena where it is going to drive a lot of jobs, right? Okay, be it Ether Energy, be it, what do you call your Ola kind of companies, or traditional companies like Mahindra and Mahindra, who want to, transition themselves into an electric company. Okay. So guys, a lot of questions coming in. Please keep typing. I'll stop by and take your questions, right? Okay. And this is another reason. I don't think this requires much explanation. The industry academia gap. which we discussed in the beginning itself, right? Because we have so many lakhs of graduates coming in. For example, as per statistics, by 2024, we'll have about 26 lakhs graduates, engineering graduates coming out, in which hardly about if you look at from a campus interview perspective, about 4 lakhs of them get into campus interviews. About 1 lakh of them go for higher studies, which means the remaining 20 plus lakhs of graduates every year needs to be skilled, and then they need to be made employable, right? And I don't see any major significant change that is happening in the academia to make this happen, right? Which means to say organizations like us, and that too thanks to the fact that the online learning has become a major phenomenon now, right? If you look at pre-pandemic, we used to do these classes only based in Bangalore, and students used to come. And even when I come and tell, hey guys, attend a webinar or come and do this class online, you're not comfortable, right? So one, even though there are a lot of negatives due to pandemic, one of the major positive thing that has happened pandemic is to our mindset shift towards online learning, right? Even if you look at this webinar, right, it would not have been possible if at all we are not adapted to the online learning. Yeah, of course, there was a glitch today. The webinar tool messed up around 10-15 minutes of our time. But leaving that apart, if you look at, right, I'm sitting in my home today, Saturday, and all of you are from various parts of India, north, east, west, south, right? We're able to do that, right? Which is also coming out as a boon for our students, so that they can learn from anywhere and get their jobs, right? Okay, I'm coming to the jobs. Nikita, Sanket, just give me some time. I'll take up your questions, right? And last point, especially if you look at the India perspective, right? There are a lot of other topics which are going around. For example, things like the semiconductor crisis, where due to pandemic, there are a lot of semiconductor shortage that has come in today's world. Okay, so companies are not able to manufacture those many semiconductors that they actually want to manufacture, mainly because there was a shortage in labor, right? And they cannot run shifts, because, and also manufacturing requires human being to be present, right? All these reasons where there is a huge demand for semiconductors, right? And of course, India is trying to cash in that, and by making waves into this semiconductor domain, right? There have been policies that have been formed, and we have been having manufacturing, but if you look at typical manufacturing in India, it's more of an assembly level manufacturing. Like if let's say, for example, a phone manufacturer like MI, right? They've been more doing an assembly rather than manufacturing a chip, what you call the fabs, right? So that is going to come. Okay, so definitely that is also expected to boost up jobs. You can see some of the numbers there, about 85,000 jobs, and there's a lot of subsidies government is giving for companies to set up their fabrication. Yeah, that's what Sanket I'm talking about. The fabs should come to India, because if the fabs come in, right, it will drive, basically you're going up in the manufacturing value chain. And when you do that, it will also create a lot of design jobs around that. Okay, it will going to benefit a lot of people who are in the, entry-level skill. For example, people who studied ITIs and diplomas will get jobs, and also, you have your, engineers, right, who are in the core chip design or in the embedded software design also, it will drive more jobs. Okay, that's the kind of jobs we are talking about, right? So these are all 5 trends. Let me summarize. Number 1, it was, companies are looking to hire beyond NITs and IITs because folks are moving to startup world. We saw that. And the second reason we saw work from home has become a common phenomena, right? Then we saw, things like the new age domains, which is, driving more jobs, because, if you look at machine learning or anything for that matter, it's all driven by data. Embedded devices are one of the sources where data is getting derived. And then the industry academia gap that is existing in India. And then last one is about the Indian semiconductor story, right? So, these are high level things. Then you may be questioning, right? How does it matter to me, right? How does it, we're talking about some high level trends. When it comes to me, right, I'm trying to make myself a career. There's a lot of questions that people are telling, I'm having so-and-so percentage, right? I'm this year pass out. How does it get a job? I'll come to that point, right? But if you look at this particular graph, which is there in the screen. So typically, this is what I show in every webinar we do. Okay, you can see that there are 3 colored, this thing are there. Okay, you can see there. So the blue colored ones are the one which is there are some numbers there. This is primarily the 2020 job statistics. These numbers are nothing but the number of drives that you used to do every month. When I say drive, a company comes and they ask for a specific skill set from our students. We apply to our students, tell our students, and our students apply for that. And, they call our students for a written test or interview. That's when we call drive. Okay. If you look at the 2021, right, 2020, we were doing around 22 drives and 18 drives. That was the scenario, right? And this is the timeline where the pandemic escaped. You can see, right, clearly there is a dip from 13 drives in March 2020 and April 2020, exactly 2 years back. We could only do one placement drive. We not even heard words like lockdown and pandemic and work from home, etc. It just came and hit the world, like anything, right? None of us has anticipated that, right? And but subsequently, what has happened is, from May, June onwards, every company recognized that the pandemic is going to stay. It will take time, real time, for things to settle down. So that's when one of the important things that happened is, companies have started working from home. That's one part. The second important phenomenon has happened around May 2020 is where companies also moved their recruitment process online. Okay, because around the same time where all our students, they were all studying in our Bangalore center, right? They were all moved to their hometown, because there's a countrywide lockdown was announced and things like that. And we from Emertxe, we were able to quickly launch the course online because we were already prepared for that. We've been, working on the online learning space for quite some time, investigating the tools, how to basically support them, etc. But that's where, we were confident, even though a little bit of initial, difficulty our mentors have faced, but for a period of time, quickly they got adapted. But our question was, yes, the learning can be done online. The learning can be even made very effective. Some of you are asking me a question, right? Is online learning is as effective as offline learning? Yes, right. It is absolutely effective, right? Same as offline, coming to Bangalore Central Learning. But the question always remains that, by doing that, will I get a job? Okay. That was the next challenge that we faced. So what happened around May 2020, where the interview process moved online? Okay. Ishan, I think you're typing the same question multiple times. Just give me some time, right? I'll come back and answer it, Perry, right? So what happened? The recruitment process moved online, where the written test, the interview, and then the offer letter releasing, and even onboarding, and to do onboard, companies even used to ship their laptops to their house, etc. Right? So they started doing that, and they started working from home. Okay. So that's when the whole entire world moved to the digital way of doing work and also recruitment. And then around 2020, the second half, you can see, right? You can see the placement started picking up reasonably well. We started doing around 15-20 drives, as we moved in the 2020, right? That was the scenario. But if you look at 2021, which is nothing but the red color towers, what you are seeing there, which was much better, right? Especially the second half of last year. If you look at from the June time range, right? For example, 37, 42, 48. October was phenomenal for us because that's the first time we saw, right? We did 51 drives. The team was like, quite excited and saying that we hit a half century, and we did a 50 drives in the October 2021 and etc. Right? So that's a kind of a surge that we started seeing. Okay, and 2022, as I told in the beginning, this has been a dream run. Okay, you can see the green colored towers there. We done 71 drives in January, 55 drives in February, 74 drives in March, 67 drive already done in April. And if you look at the 71, 55, 74, 67, right? We could only do that much because we have 100 plus companies are coming every month. Okay? As I told, mathematically we can only schedule those many. Sorry. Right, we can only schedule mathematically those many number of drives, right? So that's a challenge we are facing. It's a good problem to have, right? So if you look at on an average, we have 100 plus companies coming every month. April, if you see as of today, there are already 114 plus companies have already come, and we still have another week to go. We will easily hit 125, and in terms of drive, definitely it will go beyond 75 or 80. That's a process that we are currently now. Okay. So in summary, what I'm trying to say is like we saw 2 points as of now. Point number one, we saw 5 high-level trends, right? Then the second level we saw about how it is translating into placement opportunity for students in Emertxe. That's the point number 2 we're speaking about, right? Then the third question, majority of you are asking me that. Let me share the data and then let me take the question, right? Okay, TK, all these opportunities are coming to the students, but is our students achieving results based on that? Okay, are they able to crack the interviews, right? Okay, so I would like to show some of the recent, when I say recent, the March, April. Of course, if you go and check our website or in our social media, you can see all the details available. So I would like to show a snapshot of students under 3 categories, right? One, what we call a fresher. So when we say fresher, in our terminology, it is the latest batch and then one batch before. For example, latest batch we are considering 2021 because 2022 is not yet completed. They are in the process of finishing their semester exams and all. There is a question from Vaishnavi, right? Yes, admissions are open, right? But only thing is that exams are going on. Well, that's what I heard, right? They're getting into that soon. But from our side, we can, definitely start enrolling 2021 people, right? But what is happening actively 2021 and 2020, 1 year before, is what we consider fresher, okay? And anything that is 2020 and, before, that is 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, etc., right? So those type of batches are what we call as the older batch students, right? So we have, people, and the third category of people, third students who are there, who are working, who have some work experience in not related to embedded. For example, they may be working in, an application development or IT type of job, right? Or they may be working in, job which are not related to technology. For example, they may be working in marketing, sales, right? Those type of jobs, right? So they may be working in, various types of, jobs, right? So the point is, how do they achieve transition? Because we also run our courses online and also in the evening slot we run, right? So they come and take our courses also, right? So let me share some of the recent success stories, then we'll get into the question. Krishna, please answer my question. Is telling. Give me some time, Krishna. A lot of questions are piled up. Let me show you some recent success stories, and then we'll come back to the, your question. Let me answer that. Let me quickly go out of the presentation and pull up some data for you, recent one. As you can see, the 3 categories are there. We can see here, right? So this is a set of students who are basically, as I said, this is more of a freshers success story. People who have finished, in their engineering in either 2020 or 2021. Okay, these are all the students. I don't know the year pass out data mentioned in this post, right? But we have the data. But these are all the students. For example, we have Manjunath, who is our online student in the embedded side. He got a job with Microchip. Microchip has been our unique and regular recruiter these days, right? Who offer 10 lakh salary for our students, right? And then we have students like Monica, who did the course in an onset. She's come to the same course she's done from our center. She also got selected along with Manjunath, right? You can see, right? The point I'm trying to showcase here is, same year of pass out. One student come in online, one student has come in offline, but both of them getting into the same job. Okay, so the point I'm trying to drive here is, you don't need to worry, right? Whether should I go online or offline? Okay, it is your convenience, but in both the courses, you can achieve the same result. In fact, people who wanted to do online might have this query, right? Is it as effective as offline, right? You can see this, and there are a lot of success stories, right? I'm just showing a snapshot, so that we are doing a webinar. I can only show some samples or recent ones, right? You can go to our website or our social media. All the data is open and transparent, right? You can go and do your own analysis and figure it out. Okay, so this is a recent one. And if you look at other important trends that we are seeing is almost all the big automotive majors, be it Robert Bosch, Continental, Vitesco is one of the group companies under Continental, right? And then we have Pioneer, right? These type of organizations are hiring, okay, where, for example, students like Sheikh Ashraf, right, who is able to get a job with Vitesco, so one of the Continental group companies, and he is an online student, right? And interestingly, more MNCs are coming. When I say the MNC stories, right, why? So remember my first point when I said, right, MNCs are looking to hire beyond IITs and NITs. One of the recent example is HP, right? As I told in the beginning, I myself worked in HP for 7.5 years. It is in fact my own group of people where I used to work, right? They reached out to me, and then of course to our placement team and our students, right? And they are able to recruit our student Sandeep, right? And who been offered an 8 lakh salary. By the way, all these people are getting into core jobs. This guy Sandeep is going to the same team where I used to work, right? The inkjet printer or the laser jet printer firm, right? And more next level hirings are happening. We already floated more applications with HP and things like that, right? So if you look back, right, a few minutes back when we saw, right, MNCs are coming and recruiting, right, and that is very much happening on a daily basis. And if you look at on the top, right, the type of colleges these students are coming from. Okay, these colleges are not something when I say NITs or IIT. For example, Sandeep, if you look at it, he's from a Reva Institute of Technology and Management, Bangalore. And even though he's a Bangalore student, he opted for an online course, right? Even though he can come and learn, okay, maybe due to some reason he opted online. Okay, so this majority of them come from colleges where you are currently studying, right? That's what is the scenario we're talking about, right? Okay. So HP is another recent addition where we saw some success stories, right? And of course, companies like, for example, ZF India, where students like Sneha getting selected, right? And then we have companies which are like Continental, that the parent Continental, where we have students like Prashant, who is an on-site or the physical classroom student who could get a salary of 7 lakhs, right? And these companies these days are also having a range, right? They're like 5.5, 6.5, 7, they're in that kind of range. Okay. And then we have Arvind, Alif Semiconductors. He's again an online student. Alif Semiconductor is one of the upcoming semiconductor companies. He could get a job there, right? And then we have Bogipalli Nagaishwar. LG is able to, again, he's an on-site student. LG has become regular recruiter, recruiting in good numbers, right? And another one is about the NXP Semiconductors. As you all know, it's one of the well-known company in the semiconductor area. They're getting started around 7 lakh salary, right? Again, she's an on-site student, right? Okay. And not only that, right? It's not necessary that all of them are getting into that salary. There's a lot of people, good number of students are starting their salary with a 3.5, 4 lakhs. That's kind of our entry-level salary, right? You can see companies like, for example, USC Global or, for that matter, Capgemini, right? Who are regularly recruiting our students, L&T. And by the way, even if you see names like Capgemini, L&T, Tech Mahindra, HCL, etc., you may think that they are Indian IT services companies, but they also do a lot of embedded work. Okay, which many of you may not be aware. For example, L&T, they got a huge presence in embedded systems. Okay. HCL for that matter, right? When they come to us, they recruit our students for the embedded system jobs only. It is not for any other IT job, right? So even though these students are getting into companies like Capgemini, they are getting into a core job or an embedded system jobs only. Okay, so these are all some of the as I told, some of the success stories recently. Who are from a 2020 and 2021 pass out. Okay, and as you can see the combination there, they're either online, offline, right? Somebody from Bangalore, somebody from different parts of the country and things like that. Right? This is one set of students. Right? Now let me show you second set of students who are from an older batch. When I say older, 19 and above. Okay, so let me share you some success stories from there. And I don't have these people's era pass out in my mind. As I told, there is a lot of data. You can see students like Sakshi, is an online student from Maharashtra. She's achieved in NXP. Then we have Tanzila. She's an embedded system online student. I think her thing will come in the other one more example also, where she was working as a HR. It will be surprised if I say this, right? And she was a very active student, and she was able to remotely do this course from Pune, and she got a job. And recently she relocated to Bangalore because the company wanted her to come and work from office, right? So she's able to do that. And we have students like Anand, who is able to start a career with a company like Mirafra for a salary of 4 lakhs. Similarly, I think Ashwini, I think she's a 2017 or 16 type of batches. She's able to start as well. We have Mansoor, and we have Kumaraswamy. You can see here. He's from older batches. I don't remember exactly, but for sure they're 19 and above. Okay, and we have people like Padmini. Again, she's an online student. with a team indus for a 5.56 lakh salary. And then as you saw, right, even people who are from older batch, they're also getting into companies like Emertxe Semiconductors, right? So these are the students who are, 20, 2020 and above. Okay, so this is some examples. I know lot of questions are brewing. One more PDF, then I start taking questions, right? Then somebody spoke about career break or transitioning into a career, right? If you look at these folks, for example, Rohit, right? Rohit was our online student. He was an online evening batch student who was already working in Infosys, right? And then he, along with the other students whom are shown, right? he was able to transition himself into the embedded, right? He's able to achieve that breakthrough, right? And there are a lot of success stories who have achieved after a break, right? Whether it could be 3 years, 5 years. They had a gap between their BTech, and then they had some gap. Then they did their MTech and they came and joined, or they had some real gap after their BTech. So we have all sort of combination of people achieving success, right? These are all what I call the career break stories, right? We have people like Vibhav, right, who did his BTech in 2017. Then he could not, and then he went and did an MTech and then joined us, right? You can see, right, he's also landing in the similar job, Vitesco, which is another continental company. And another example, which was, I think it was little early, around January timeframe, where we had students like Aishwarya Chandni was working for a aeronautical development agency. She could crack a Qualcomm with a 17.5, and 17.5, what we call is a fixed one. Apart from that, she also gets the stock options. If you add up, you get the 27.5 or something, which we typically see in the website. People ask, is it really true, right? To 27.5 are, people in Emertxe, we are just like putting, right? That's not the case. She's the one who, if you add up her stock options, right? Again, that depends on the dollar multiplication and all. That's why we didn't put it. But this is a fixed. If you add up her stock option, it will come to the 27.5. Okay. And this she's able to achieve. And very interestingly, this is just want to show, this is very, very inspiring to me. Recent past, where 4 years, 5 years back, some of our students have studied, they got placed, and their younger siblings, right, their younger brother or younger sister, they're referring them to Emertxe and they're getting jobs. Okay, so this is a recent example of Murti brothers, right, Rudramurti and Tirumurti. So Rudramurti, was our student in somewhere around 2016, and he attended offline course, and then he got job with a company where initially he was deployed into Qualcomm as a deployed into Qualcomm project, but later they got absorbed into Qualcomm only. He works out of Qualcomm Chennai now. And then he called me back a few months back and then said, sir, my brother, I want to put him into our course. So, I said, now online is available. No, sir, no, sir. He said, I want him to come to Bangalore and sit in the center and learn. I just fine, no problem. So he came in. Tirumurti is a 2021 batch, his younger brother, and he got a job in Value. As you know, Value is also one of the major automotive company, right? So like that, we are seeing twins, classmates, younger sister, elder sister, a lot of things, right? This is a recent one where two brothers from the same family, they both came to Emertxe, they both landed in core jobs, right? And then again, you can see a lot of career break stories here. 3 years of challenge, 3 years of break, right? And when they come here, right, majority of you, if you ask, even if you see, they write it in the review or in the testimonial, say that when they come in, none of us would believe this. Okay? Saying, how come it is possible, right? When you apply outside, they ask me so many questions, saying that you have a career break, year break, you cannot consider you, etc. How come this magic happens when you come to Emertxe, right? The answer is very simple. Okay, companies come to us not because of year of pass out, not because you have a year break or not. They come to us because we have a specific skilled people available with us. Okay, which means to say what? We are changing the rules of the game. Okay, earlier we were playing the game of year of pass out, your previous experience or your academic percentage, etc. Right? But now we are changing that particular narration. We are saying all those things is not going to matter much. It matters a little bit, right? but majorly it's about what is, your resume looks like as of, completing the course with Emertxe, right? You are going to get a complete makeover, right? Or you're going to upgrade yourself. Then you are not going to play by the old rules. You're going to play by the new rules. For example, if you look at L&T, right? A big company like L&T, they'll put 1,000 conditions when they go for, outside, when they go for a walk-in, right? They say 65% consistent, no backlog, you should not have even failed once, right? Blah, 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 right? But when they come to us, they waive off good number of those conditions because they know by giving up that, they get skilled people. So they're also comfortable. Okay. Earlier, big companies were little uncomfortable. Now, big companies also become fairly flexible. Middle-sized companies and startups don't care, because many of you are asking me the question, right? Sir, will I get more opportunities? Will I get less opportunities? Right? Let me give one simple statistic. Right? I'm talking about 100 plus companies visiting. Okay, every month. Right? If you look at on an average, right, around 40% of the companies. Okay, just note my point. Okay, around 40% of the companies are telling no year of pass out criteria. Means you can be any year of pass out. You can be 2022, 120, 19, 18, 17. We even success stories, we have seen students who are from 2011 pass out, 2012 pass out. Almost 10 years back they passed out. They did all sort of odd jobs, right? They were into academics, they were into research, they were into administration, they did into marketing and sales. And good number of our girl students, they've taken a break due to pregnancy. They relocated to a different city because their husband was working there. She needed to quit a job. Then they had a kid. And some of our girl students had 2 kids. So they need to take a longer pregnancy break. All those things are changing. Mainly because we are playing the game by skill. Right? That's what you can see, right? These are all written by our own students, right? You can go and dig as much research you can do, right? I'm just showing a snapshot. Okay. For example, if you look at, as I told Tanzila, Tanzila was a HR. You don't believe me. Okay. She was working as a HR, but she said, no, I wanted to get into core job, right? She can see here, she could not believe, but, she came here and she was an online student and, she could get a job, she's a 2017 pass out. Still she could, get a job like that, right? Okay. So these are all the career break, career transition, and, getting into premium jobs, whatever, right? You can see all permutation combination, right? But in summary, what I would like to conclude is only 2 things. Okay? One, we are playing the game of skilling. We are not playing the game of year of pass out. We are not playing the game of percentage, etc., right? You can be a working professional, or you can be resuming after a break, recent batch, older batch. Percentage is 6.5. Percentage is your CGPA 6.5, CGPA 7.5. Doesn't matter. We are changing the rule of the game. The rule of the game is skill game. Point number 1. Okay. Point number 2 is about mode of learning. Okay? You can learn either online or offline. Not doesn't matter. Okay. Both the batch students will get the same placement opportunities, except for very few companies. Probably I would say 2%, 3% maximum, or even worst case 5% companies will ask students to come physically. Okay, and attend that one a final round of interview. That we tell our online students don't apply. Anyway, they're asking you to come. But yeah, they may ask you to come to Bangalore after you get a job, right? Or come to Pune or any other place, right? Because working from office is becoming normal these days, right? That we cannot control. But as far as the selection process is concerned, if you're an online student, right, you will get the same placement opportunity what an offline student gets, except for the 5% of the companies, which you can ignore safely. No need to worry, right? All the premium companies that you can think of, they're all hiring online, and they are not even worried, they're not even bothered whether you are an online student or an offline student. Even we don't mention. When we share your list to the company, we say, oh, student A is an online student, student B is an offline student. No. So because as far as even we are concerned, we are imparting with the same skills, right? The company is also fine. As long as you prove yourself in the interview and written test and the interview, they're fine with that. Okay. So this is a summary, right? Mode of, interviews, mode of study doesn't matter, because still companies are recruiting through the online medium only. Okay. So I know a lot of questions have come up already. So let me take it one by one. Let me come down. Okay. So that's a question from Madhumohan Reddy. Is online classes are more effective, more effective? Yes, it is. As I said, both of them will have the same effectiveness. how when I explain offline class are effective, it's easy for it to relate. There'll be a mentor who will be using the marker, they'll be explaining it using the glass board and things like that. But when it comes to online, how effectively are doing, right? Now, Mubin will walk you guys through about it, where you can see, what makes our online course as effective as our offline course. We'll see that. Okay. What are the location of the organization? Vedasi, I'm not sure whether you're asking about Emertxe or these recruiting companies. If you can be clear, it will help me, right? Then we have a question from Vishal. He's telling, sir, I am working in VAL Telecom from 2018 after my passes, but not getting desired increment. Yeah, Vishal, you can see so many other people. For example, Aishwarya herself is a 2018 pass out. Okay, she was working as a contract employee in Aeronautical Defense Academy, ADA, right? She's able to get into this type of jobs, right? I know, right? If your skill is not high, companies will not increment your salary. Okay, they are not, just because you are there for 3 years, 4 years, it is not necessary that they need to pay you more. Any company for that matter will pay you more, provided you bring in a critical skill set into the table, right? So that's what this particular game is all about. So, the student, she is from 2018, she is able to get a career break, right? Very well possible. Okay. And there's a question from Sanket, do you teach RTOS? Okay, again, this is an interesting question. Okay. Anyways, we'll talk about the module, right? In our course, majority of our courses centered around the Linux operating system. Okay. Right from the first module, Linux systems, where you learn about Linux commands and shell scripting. Then you learn the second module called Linux internals. In Linux, I'm telling you about. In between, there will be more modules, so I'll show you shortly, right? And then you'll learn about embedded Linux, right? So our entire ecosystem is built around Linux, okay? And Linux is not an RTOS, okay? So logically speaking, we don't teach RTOS as a part of the course in a hands-on manner because we teach Linux, right? But having said that, in our Linux internals course, we teach some RTOS concepts. For example, how a normal OS is different from RTOS, right? What are the typical characteristics of RTOS, right? And if at all you want to build a real-time system, what are the aspects that you need to take care, right? Those type of aspects we cover. As far as the interviews are concerned, right, more than learning an RTOS, okay, if you learn Linux, that is much more valuable and much more, from a long-term perspective, Linux adds a lot of value. In fact, we run webinars. The last March webinar, we had an expert talking about Linux, right? And he extensively spoke about where Linux is everywhere, right? Including your cloud computing, including your mobile phone, including your embedded systems, etc. Right? So ours is centered around Linux. We teach RTOS concepts, but we don't teach any. For example, there are operating systems like free RTOS, which is not part of our curriculum. Hope that's clear. Sankit. Vishal, you can just confirm. Hope it answers your question. Can you type in the below? I'll come and take a look. Then there's a question from Gayatri. Gayatri Reddy, she's asking, I'm a 2019 pass out. Due to arrear, I 1 year wasted, though I was currently working hardware testing engineer, 4.4 CTC. I'm eligible for the course. Of course, yes. Okay, as you can see, a lot of examples we have given. People who are from 2019 and above, right? All these people, which is currently in the screen, are belonging to your category. Either they're working or some of them quit their job, had a break and come, right? Definitely you're eligible, and by doing our course and building your skill set, definitely you can achieve the results what these students have achieved. Gayatri. Okay. Then there's a question from working in EV sector, says Gayatri. Okay, fine, no problem. Okay. So as in our placement companies, also good number of them are hiring from the EV sector, as I already said. Okay. Then there's a question from Ishan. I got 7.8 out of 10 in B-Tech W, but my 10th and 12th results is not good, 55%. So I'm eligible to sit in placement company like Qualcomm, Emertxe, Microchip, though Emertxe. If no, what should I do to sit and write in? See, Ishan, as I already told you, the importance for the academics is less. The importance for your modules are more. Okay. I cannot comment on specific companies, okay, because very few companies today are only asking for the consistent, let us say 60%, 70%. Probably I'll show you the Google group, what type of an academic expectation that In fact, Qualcomm application recently went live. So let us check. Let me quickly show you. What Qualcomm is asking for as a sample. That you can see here this group. Anyways, I'll walk you through it little later. Okay, you can see here Qualcomm. Let us see what they're asking for. I can see, right, this has went live 3 days back. Look what they're asking. Okay, so 60% in engineering, right? That's what they're asking. And you can see the batches, right? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 can only apply, right? Any of these batch people can apply. Okay, so that's what it is. Let us also quickly check. Maybe I think microchips is particular. Microchips asks for 70% consistent, but company like NSP and Qualcomm, I don't see much issue. Just because your 10 standard is less, right? Yes, you can see what I am displaying in the screen. Hope that's clear. Ishan, just keep typing in the door. I'll come back and check that. Okay. Then there's a question from Krishnendu De. He's asking, so which is better nowadays, embedded or IoT or others, right? That's a very, very generic question to answer, okay? Because again, IoT is a broad topic, right? Again, we also do IoT course in Emertxe, but even though we do IoT course, IoT is again a very broad spectrum, right? It includes embedded system, it includes networking, it includes cloud computing, it includes machine learning, then it includes application development, right? It's a combination of multiple technologies, right? Okay, but what I would suggest is, we can only vouch, we can only talk about the embedded and IoT jobs, which whatever we have shown in the statistics, right? It is becoming really, really bullish, right? Really, really, a lot of opportunities are getting opened up. Not only in terms of the number of jobs, even if you see the kind of salaries people are getting and the kind of long-term career growth that they are going to have, right? It is looking really good. Okay? So, Krishnendu, I think that clears, right? Then Vedas is asking, sir, can you give us history and achievements of organization? Is it required for us to make an internship report? I don't think any internship report is required. Vedasri, I think, I don't know what context you are asking this question. What you need to do is like in our Emertxe, whatever the course you are teaching, you need to build your assignments and projects, mainly the projects which you need to represent in your resume. Okay, that would be the major requirement, what companies are expecting. Okay. Then there is a question from Abhay Kulkarni is asking, sir, I am from Pune, wanted to work in the same city. Are there companies coming from Pune location? We get this question even in our monthly meetings from our existing students. Okay. So if you ask me statistically, Abhay, okay, given that we are located in Bangalore, Emertxe as an organization, plus Bangalore being the tech capital of India, right? Considering both the reasons, right? 90% of the companies are coming from Bangalore only. Okay. I would say rest 10% is combination of Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune, NCR, some in Kerala, and 1 or 2 in Gujarat. Okay. So this is what I'm seeing, 10% put together. Okay. So, if you ask me, Pune is an upcoming, location. In fact, one of our recent recruiting companies who are opening up their branch, a German-based company called Matrix, they're opening up their branch in Pune, right? That way it's upcoming, but statistically, we see, we are still highly Bangalore-centric, placements. Okay. But on a recommendation perspective, I would say, right, when you're starting up your career, and that on a course segment, don't be, too much location specific. Come out, work in other places, and then probably after some years, if you want to go back to Pune, you can do that. Okay. I always tell my students, don't aim 2 things at the same time. Have one aim. For example, you want to get into core job, do that first. Don't say core job and then I want to get into Pune also, right? Okay, then that becomes complicated, right? That's not a, if it asks, I'm not telling Pune companies are not hiring. And in fact, if you look at bigger companies, for example, companies like L&T, Tech Mahindra and all, they come and recruit for pan-India positions. They even say, places like, they say, we will select you, depending on project need, we'll deploy anywhere. They will deploy you in Mysore, Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, right? Their pan-India presence is there, right? That is also there. But I would recommend, don't have both the criteria. Okay, get into the core job first. good number of experience you can gain. But I myself have good number of my own friends from Maharashtra. They moved back to Pune because they want to stay close with their parents and things like that, right? You can very well do that. Okay. Sanket, I think I clarified about your questions in Sanket, right? Okay. There's a question from Nikita. Very interesting question she's asking. It's a very simple question, but very interesting question, right? So, do all students get jobs? Okay. So there is always a question, right? So when you say that is it 100% placement guaranteed, right? So what do you mean by that, right? Okay. So this is a very genuine and at the same time, not a what do you call an easy. I can't answer in one sentence. So let me answer with some data points, right? Okay. So when we see our students, right, when they join, they can start applying for placement after third month. I'll explain in the technical section once we start that, right? And we provide them placement support up to 2 years after course completion. Okay. So if you look at from that window perspective, right, students who have been regular, they've done their assignment and project, yes, they are able to achieve 100% placements. Okay. But if some students are not at all regular, okay, if they're not at all doing the assignments and projects properly, cannot. Okay, so the answer lies in the ball lies in the student's court end of the day, where as long as you are doing your assignments and projects properly, yes, all the students will get placed 100%. There is no doubt about it. And as I showed you, right, so many data points I'm showing. So I'm ICC, right? We discussed in 4 areas, right? High level trends, okay, and then what it means to students in Emertxe, how the job opportunities are coming up. And then how various categories, right? The recent one, the older one, and the career break, right? There are the 5 points we discussed so far, right? All the students have one thing in common is they've been regular. Okay? Because when you go to the interview, right, it is up to you to prove yourself, right? We cannot come and attend your interview on your behalf, right? So as long as you're focused on skilling, you do your assignments and projects properly, absolutely yes. There is no denial about that. Adoption, we say 100% placement guarantee. Can you give? Yes, we can give. Okay. But you need to work towards it. For example, some students come and ask me, sir, I'll pay you the fees today, full fees. Tomorrow, can you get me a job? That doesn't happen. No. Okay, then why we need all those things, right? Skill building is not there, right? Then we become a placement agency, right? We don't need all those infrastructure, mentors, everything not required, right? We can only do phone call, connect you to the recruiter and send. Okay. Then what's the difference between us and them doing a walk-in, right? So that's the whole idea. Consider it as a skill building, and as long as you focus on skill building, yes, 100% placement result is possible for all the students. Okay, so I'm not telling about this batch, that batch, this era pass out, that era pass out, online, offline. No, that's why I'm showing the data points to you guys. Hope that's clear, Nikita. Okay. Then Sanket is asking again the question about do you teach ATAS? I think I clarified already. Okay. Will studying about FPGA system Verilog HDL will give efficient boost? I would say no, Sanket, because your HDL FPGA comes more on the the hardware simulation, or it more comes on the VLSI side of it than on the embedded side of it, right? To look at any product, it is consisting of 2 pieces. One is the hardware and the software, right? The hardware, especially when you talk about the silicon or the chip, right? Before it takes the form of the final processor, like for example an ARM processor, right? That's where you have all the simulation tools to simulate the processor and then finally come up with a small silicon, which you talk about the FAP and things like that, right? Okay, so that's what it is. That and this is entirely different. Don't confuse. Our focus is on embedded systems software job, where the chip is ready, the board is ready. Then you are going to program that particular chip or board and then make it as it could be an industrial control device, or it could be a router or a switch, or it could be a wearable device. That's what we are going to do. Okay, so don't keep your legs in both the places. VLSI is an entire bit. Often we tend to combine them. People say VLSI and embedded. I say no. VLSI and embedded are nowhere related in terms of skill, right? So I don't recommend you keeping legs in both the areas. If you are too passionate about hardware, if you want to get into the HDL, FPGA side, take up a VLSI course. But our course is completely on the embedded side, where we assume that the chip is available, the chip is mounted on the board, and the board is available to us. Okay. Hope that's clear, Sanket. Hope that clears. And there's a question about fees. Vikram is asking. So Vikram, my counseling team would be the right people to answer that. Okay, in the end, I'll show you their contact details. Because online versus offline, there's a fee difference. And then there's also some scholarship schemes our team runs time to time. They will be the right person to answer your question. I'll share their contact details in the end. Right? I think Ishan's question is answered. Then Vaishnavi is asking, sir, placement is open for 2022 batch. Not yet, because 2022 has not done their engineering, right? Of course, around May onwards, they can start taking up the course. And we need a minimum 3 months to open up your replacement. Let us say May if you come, June, July, August onwards, it will start. But we are expecting some registrations to happen from May. The students are still wrapping up their final year engineering exams and things like that. And some of our students are already enrolled in online, but still, anyways, they have to complete engineering, right? Then only they can be eligible for placements. Because companies come to us, it's not like campus interview where you go and make them offer 1 year back, right? They come to us and they expect you to join immediately, and they would expect you to complete your engineering. So that way, from 2022, it will take some more time, but you can enroll for the course, no problem. Because by the time it opens up, you would be ready to face those opportunities, right? Then we have Shreya Fasalka. She's asking, sir, mechanical engineering graduates can also do this course, and what about the placement performance? That's an interesting question. Again, if you look at last October 2021, right, that was a very interesting incident happened in Emertxe. A few months back, before that, some students came from mechanical engineering. Those times, we used to tell them saying that, this course can be only taken for people who are from EEE or EC or from computer science background. Right? So some students came and asked for admission, even though they are from mechanical. We said no, we cannot commit placement. I'm talking about before October. And those students, they said no, we don't want placement. We want to study. Okay? They studied, and through our own placement companies itself, they got placed. Right? That's when we also got surprised. Then we reached out to companies and then checked. Are you okay to consider any branch? Majority of them said yes. Okay, which means to say mechanical engineering students, mechatronics students are getting placed. I don't have the data right now. I think one of the meetings I showed that success story also. It will be in one of the folders. Okay, I didn't bring the data today. Yes, mechanical students are eligible. Mechanical students, mechatronics students, even somebody says biomedical, related to that, right? They're all coming. They're all getting placed. Okay, so only thing is I don't have the pictures right in my, it's there in one of the folders, not in the folders what I planned today. The answer is yes. Okay. Then we have Krishna Sai. So at present I'm working in IBM as a technical engineer. I'm interested to shift my course background. Is it possible, sir? Yes, Krishna. You can see so many people have done. For example, people like Aishwarya, or even for that matter, Rohit. Right? They're all similar to you. They've been working. They took our evening course and then they made the transition. And we also, by the way, if you're a working professional, you want to switch to core, the notice period and how you serve that particular, how to handle that also can be addressed. No issues, right? Companies are ready to give you time. And by the way, everything is transparent with companies. Okay, with respect to the entire data, it's transparent with the companies. Right? When they go there, we explain your case to the company, and they're ready to, basically provide you time where you can get relief from your previous organization. For example, in your case, it would be IBM, and then join the core company. Okay, so that way the notice period, or some of them will even say, sir, I'm serving bond. What do I do? Right? All those things can be taken care. So companies are willing to consider. No problem. Okay. Hope that's clear, Krishna. Then Nikita is telling, sir, I have some knowledge about this course. Can I join? Yes, you can join. What I'm saying is like, it is not that you need to have a previous knowledge, right, and then join. I would say you come here and then learn things. If, as far as we are concerned, all our mentors are concerned, we expect all of you at a level 0. If you know more, it's happy. You're happy. But for us, whether you are a recent batch pass out, whether you are a working professional, or whether you are coming after career breaks, we get variety of students. So we ensure that all our subjects are starting at level 0. Okay. If you know more, it will help you. Okay, but we don't expect that. For us, everything starts at level 0. Hope that's clear, Nikita. Okay. Okay. I think then we have Lipun Das is asking, I'm 2015 with 7 years experience in semiconductors and electronics. Yes. for you also career transition is possible. I think that's where his question is coming from. Okay. Then Praveen is telling, sir, will 2021 and 2020 will get more placement drive compared to 2017 pass out? Will be any different depending on the pass out? So as I told you, right, Praveen, there are two ways to look into it, right? Logically, the later year you are, you will get more opportunities, right? There is no denial in that, right? But as I told you, statistically, when you look at, right, 40% of the companies are telling no era pass out. Suppose 100 companies are hiring in Emertxe, 40 companies are telling no era pass out. It can be like, 2016, 15, even it can be from 2010, doesn't matter, right? So, the later ones will tend to have some advantage, which we cannot avoid. And by the way, this criteria set by the company. Emertxe is not telling, right? Companies are setting that, right? Okay. So, with 40% of the company, means logically about 40 companies every month, any era pass out can attend. So, that's the opportunities in front of you. So, I don't think you should be too much concerned about that. Okay. Again, there's a question from Manoj about fees. As I told you, my admission team would be the right person to clarify, right? Okay. Then same question from Atul Suryavanshi, all the fees related. So please talk to my counseling team. I'll share the contact details. Okay. Then there is a Sai Bhavani. She's telling, apart from placement support, are students made capable enough to reach out to embedded automotive companies on their own via LinkedIn and get a job? Yes, Sai Bhavani, but I don't think there is a need for it now. Okay. Recently, I don't remember, I'm not getting company name, my colleague Mubin was mentioning about it, where through this, I think LinkedIn or Naukri, I'm not sure, they got reached out to them and they got selected, okay, little old batch students. And then the interview people are very surprised and then said, your skills are very good, you are doing well. Then those students said, no, sir, we studied in Emertxe. So they came to us, right? And then they recruited. But at this juncture, Sai Bhavani, I don't think you should be bothered to, because some students I'm saying they want to apply anywhere, everywhere and everywhere. If you wanted to do it, but I believe the opportunity that we get, right? I'm telling you, monthly 100 companies are coming. What more you want? Okay? But if you wanted to do still, no, sir, I still want 101 by creating my LinkedIn profile, reaching out to some senior manager in some company, apply. If you can do that, no problem. But yes, your skill set will be impressive to any employer. No doubt about that. Okay. Hope that's clear, Sai Bhavani. Then there's a question from Nanda Kumar. So, working professional like me like to learn embedded and move to embedded domain. Since I'm working as a Java lead developer, I like to pursue career in embedded domain. When in college, now years gone, but it like to move to embedded. Yes, Nanda Kumar, as I told you, we have enough more success stories. People like you come and then they are able to transition to embedded domain. Okay. In fact, we get people who are from totally not related to embedded. We have people coming from, manufacturing background. Okay. They have been more of a PLC, SCADA type of background. I think a couple of days back, one student, got placed, right? Who is not even from programming background. Okay. Such people are getting breakthroughs. So definitely you can do that, right? So Ranjit Kumar is asking, sir, we can apply for all the interviews for the visiting companies. It depends on the company, Ranjit. I showed one example of Qualcomm, right? They clearly mentioned which era pass out and what is the criteria. If you're matching that particular criteria, you can apply. Okay, but it depends on the company to company. Okay. I think Ishan, Sanket, we clarified. And then we have Biliaminu. When is the next training batch? What is the time of training on it? What is the cost? Okay. Biliamino, I think you are joining from Finland, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So the next training batch date, I'll show you in the end, right? It's already up in our website. Just wait for some time. I'll show you once again in my slide one. And the timing, the online timing would be, since you are based out of Europe or, rather Finland, right? Typically people who are coming from that time zone, the Europe time zone, right? The evening 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. India time. Okay, or rather you can even say 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. including the labs and other things. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. India time. So you can map it to your time zone. Fairly people who are from the Europe time zone, the Middle East, right? Countries like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, or even countries like Africa, African, Egyptian region, right? They are able to attend the classes. I would recommend that you check out for the evening class, which will map it to maybe you are, little ahead. Maybe I think you are 3.5 hours are ahead. I don't know. You need to see the time zone. So it happens on India 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, that's the timeline. Okay, cost. Again, you need to reach out to our counseling team. Okay? It's we have very simple equation of converting the Indian rupee into dollars, right? And then they will let you know what would be the the dollar pricing, and then you can pay up and sign up for the course. Okay, please reach out to our team, counseling team. They will be able to help you. Okay. Ranjit is asking how often Qualcomm is visiting. All apply for that, right? So Qualcomm, again, as I said, we cannot go company specific, right? In fact, our regular sessions also student ask me, right, sir, how often Qualcomm will come, how often Emertxe is coming, etc. So we cannot give a calendar saying that today is April 23rd, Qualcomm will come, next month it will come. It's not a campus interview. When they have demand, they will come to us, right? But fairly they're regular. Okay, I don't say they come in once in a blue moon. Not the case. They're fairly regular. Okay. Then Ravi Kumar Gupta, these courses suitable for people whose communication skills is not better. Oh, okay, another classic question, right? My communication skills are not good. Will this course suit me, right? Definitely, you can do this, Ravi. Communication skill has nothing to do with technical skills, right? Often we have been fooled in the colleges saying that you need to speak good English to become a good engineer. I don't know why people still believe in that, right? Rather, I would put it across this way. In fact, I tell it in my every workshop that I do, because if you go and see in colleges, right, they do something called the spoken English workshop, right? They'll get some English teacher, they'll make you sit in a class for 3 days, 4 days, Angreji, right? They will teach you that the spoken English. After 3 days, nothing changes, right? So what we say in Emertxe, communication skills is directly proportional to your confidence, right? Your communication skills are not good, okay, because it is not your English is a problem. All of us have studied English in your school, in your college, right? It is because you are not confident. You are not confident because you don't have the necessary skills, right? So you build the skill set, okay, so definitely your communication skill will improve, guaranteed, okay? So I have a student who had a stammering problem. Okay, people who know medical science will tell me, will agree with me that stammering is not a medical, no, by eating no medicine you cannot cure, stammering, right? It's a mental block, right? Once you get confident, you can come over it, right? Focus on your skill set, build your technical skill very well, okay? And then whatever your technical skill you learned in Emertxe, you go and talk in a very simple English, which you already know, you'll get a job. You don't need to speak like a cinema star or a Harsha Bogle, who, IPL commentators, so many are there. I refer IPL because I follow cricket, right? You don't need to talk like them. That much English, if you need to go become an IPL commentator, right? So we are applying for a technical job where that much English you already know. Okay, so you don't need to worry at all. Focus on the course, build the skill, build the confidence. Naturally, you'll be able to answer your interviews. I'm sure many of you will having that question. Okay, my English is not good, no. And you will be wondering why my 3 days or 4 days of spoken English is not helping me. I'm telling you, it will never help. Even you attend that 4 days of spoken English 20 times, it will never help. It has never helped anybody. Okay, just that we make some, false belief in such courses, right? Okay, focus on the technical skills, right? And then Abhay is asking what kind of roles companies are offering to candidates. Again, it's a very interesting question. When it comes to roles, Abhay, okay, all the students who are getting recruited, they are getting recruited into a specific vertical. When you say vertical, if you look at embedded system, it is having, for example, automotive, telecommunication, robotics, right, the consumer electronics, IoT, right? This is one way to look at the role, right? In which vertical you are going to go. And we have all the, for example, Qualcomm is a semiconductor company. Valeo is a, an automotive company like that, right? So that is one way to look into the role, right? Second thing is that's like the vertical value. Second thing, when you go to that particular company, either you will get into a developer profile or you get into a tester profile. Okay, so these two are the profiles that companies are recruiting for. But your nature of work would be more about either you develop a source code, okay, or you integrate or you bug fix a source code predominantly in C or sometimes in C++ or in Python, and then you develop a component or a feature in your in the embedded system. And that embedded could be an automotive embedded, telecommunication embedded, IoT embedded, machine learning, the robotics embedded, it could be anything, right? Or you are part of a testing team where you need to test that particular embedded system. Okay, and by the way, again there is a lot of myth which I go in detail. Unfortunately, we are already 8:45. We lost 15 minutes of time due to this audio issue, right? In my monthly workshops, which I meet students, I spend a lot of time in clarifying the wrong notion that we have about what you call the testing, right? We have somehow, when I say the word testing, people feel it's not a great thing to do. But if you look at embedded system testing, it offers a lot of opportunities, right? That is also a very good thing to do, right? In summary, there are two aspects. One, you get into a particular vertical, and either you do a developer or a testing role inside that vertical. Okay. Then we have Muthukarpan. Muthukarpan is asking, sir, I'm working in TCS. Oh my God. Muthukarpan is copy pasted multiple times. I'm supposed to complete 1 year of my bond. When should I start attending placements? Okay, very interesting question. I don't know how many years of bond you signed up for, Muthukarpan. Okay. What I tell students is like, when you have a bond, okay, you tell me when the bond is getting over, because I don't recommend you break the bond. Okay, since TCS is giving you a job and they're also an employer, I don't know how many years of bond you signed for. Let us assume, you are signing a bond for 2 years. Let me assume, I may be wrong, right? So suppose you already completed 1 year. Let us say 1 more year is there to complete your bond. Suppose you join the course, it will take another, let us say 5 to 6 months for you to complete, right? You complete the course, wait for another 6 months, then you start applying for your placements, okay, so that you are out of that bond period. And this 2 years of placement commitment, what we give from Emertxe, right? We can start the 2-year window the moment you start applying, not when you're completing the course, which is applicable for every people. We give this consideration of 2 type of people, Muthukarpan. One, people who are already having a bond in a particular company, or we have some students who join our course who will have some backlogs. They also take time to clear, right? Okay. So for these 2 considerations, what we give is you clear everything. No need to take tension. Serve your bond period and complete all your backlogs and things like that. Then you start applying, right? The day you come and tell, sir, my bond period is over, right? Or the day you come and tell my backlogs are cleared, from then on, we can support you for 2 years of unlimited placement opportunities, right? By then, you would have completed your course. When you'll have ample amount of time, utilize this particular time and build a good number of projects, which is going to only increase your probability of getting into a better company. Okay. Hope that clear, Muthukarpan. I think you copy pasted multiple times. Okay. 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 So then we have Dharmaraja Padani. If I learn embedded system, can I switch to development role, right? As I told you, Dharmaraja, in all the companies recruiting, they are hiring for both developer as well as tester positions. Okay. It depends on the company and the role. Okay. Yes, shifting to development is possible. Okay. Let me come down. Okay. So Manasa is asking, so I'm 2021 passed out. I got placed in Bosch. I resigned after 7 months of joining. Due to family issues, right? Will this affect my career? It's unfortunate that you need to resign from Bosch, first of all. Okay. I don't think it will affect. Okay. Let me tell you, I have a similar story like you. Okay. In fact, by the way, Emertxe is one of the training provider to Robert Bosch. Maybe we are not doing much due to pandemic and things like that, where we come. I don't know, Manasa, whether you attended some of our training programs. Maybe you can confirm later in the window, right? So, one of our students, he quit Bosch because he wanted to apply for UPSC. His name is Vinay, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So he reached out to me because, when I used to, earlier, I'm talking about quite some years back, I trained him, right? He worked there for 3-4 years, then he quit. He wanted to apply for UPSC. He had my contact, he reached out to me, and then he, joined our course, right? He, I think, spent about 2 years applying and trying for UPSC, and he did not succeed. And, he was worried, right? I already left my good company job, and then I and what people see that when a UPSC doesn't come through, or in your case, there's a family issue, right? You see this as an immediate failure, right? I told him, don't bother about it. Focus on the course, right? So he could focus on the course, right? And I told him one thing, when you go for interview, whatever has happened, tell openly to the company. You tell, I got a job in Bosch, I worked there, I quit due to UPSC preparation, and I came to Emertxe, improved my skill, and this is where I am today. Okay, I think he cracked with NXP Semiconductor, if I'm not wrong, right? So very well can happen to you. And when you go for interview, just be transparent. You say, this is the reason why I quit, and I came to Emertxe, and ensure that you do well in your Emertxe assignment project. And I think Vinay stayed focused. That's why he could build a profile and move on to NXT. Okay, I don't think that be an issue at all. Okay, so then there's I think a lot of things. I think there's a question from Yapparla Venkata is asking, sir, weekend classes are available? Not yet, Yapparla, because we used to do weekend classes, but after pandemic we stopped. I would say that weekend classes is what in some form it has got switched to basically the evening classes. So that working professionals, earlier they used to come Saturday, Sunday, sit in our center and study. Now that is what repositioned as an evening class now. Okay, so I would recommend that rather than looking out for a weekend classes, which we don't have plans to redo it. Rather, I would recommend you consider the evening classes, right? Okay. So I think a lot of questions got answered. In same 2023 course, okay. Also eligible? Yes, you can. If you're inside the college, you have one more year to go. You want to do it now itself along with your college, that's really recommended. You can do that. Okay, but please note, 2023, you can start applying only when you complete your engineering. Okay, because it's not like a campus, right, where you are studying and you are applying, right? Because companies want you to join immediately. Okay? All the companies who are recruiting from us, except for the people who are serving notice period, which I mentioned few minutes back about the case of TCS, right? Only that consideration will be given. For freshers, they expect you to join immediately. A lot of questions got answered. Then these big companies are available for older batch passouts like 2017, 16, 15, says Praveen Kumar E. Yes, as I showed you, so many cases, right? People who are from 19 and above, they're all getting premium jobs. Okay, I don't see any issues. Okay. Hitesh is asking, I am 2019 pass out, mechanical engineer, can I join? Because some companies are specific about branches. No. In our cases, as I already told you a few minutes back, we have already broken the shackles of branch. Any engineering branch students can apply our course. Okay. You can be even from civil engineering, metallurgical engineering, material science engineering, biomedical engineering. Any engineering can come. Okay. No problem. Okay. Then we have Vishesh. Vishesh is asking, I am planning to do my master's in embedded system, but before that I want to have a good hold on basic minimum tech stack of embedded systems. Here, is there any extras provided like letter of recommendation provided by Emertxe? Oh, nice question, Vishesh. Okay, this is again a very interesting question to answer. Yes. Okay. When you come, you have some timeline where you wanted to apply for your master's. Let us say 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, depending on and you may be, I don't know whether you're targeting for universities in the US, Europe, or Singapore. That is the 3 areas where our students have, gone already. Yes, we do provide LORs, and by the way, our LORs do have good weightage. Okay, and let me quickly pull up some examples. Let me. Tarun, yeah. Look at Tarun is one. I think he was about some 5-6 years back. Tarun joined our course, right? He was working in TCS. After that, he quit. Then he came back and he did our course, right? We given him LOR, right? And you can see here he finished in 2012, right? He worked till 2014. Then he quit and came to us. He worked on an additional project. He spent good amount, I would say, 1 year, 3 months he was with us, right? Even after he completed the courses, he did more projects. We given him LOR. Then he went into University of Colorado Boulder. After that, he went and joined Western Digital. I think he's now based out of California, Irvine, right? You can see here. Even after going there, also they came back and asked for my references, right? Our mentors' references and all we given them, right? Then another student, if I'm not wrong, is Amrita. Amrita is another example. She went to Canada as a student. You can see here she went into a University. She did her bachelor's in Bangalore. Then she went into this particular college, Conestoga, right? And then we have Sibi. Sibi is another guy who came to us. And in fact, you can see Sibi's testimony also, Vishesh. I think it just showed up, right? How Emertxe study abroad and become a global embedded professional. This is Sibi's testimonial. So Sibi came to us, and then he got placed in Honeywell after doing our course. Then we gave an LOR. We went to Concordia University. Then he moved to HCL in Canada, and then he's now part of AMD, right? And interestingly, similar to Rudramurti, his younger brother is currently doing our course, right? So maybe I told his younger brother, right? Maybe his name is Rishi, right? CB Rishi, right? So we said Tirumurti and Rudramurti. So CB Rishi will make some sibling success story, right? He has come and joined our course, right? So yeah, a lot of abroad success stories. People have went and did their masters, in US largely and Europe. And of course, in the recent year, due to pandemic, some of you are not able to travel, which I understand. Singapore also, some students have gone. Okay, yes, we do provide LOR. And recently, a few weeks back, I think there are a series of LORs people are requesting, which are given. I don't have an idea which university they have landed up. Yeah, our LORs have got a lot of weightage because it's not like a college prof, right? Who just like that gives some, ours is finishing school where you learn something practically. And not only that, when you go to these universities, it is also useful to get a TA and RA because you will be able to demonstrate good skills, right? These professors will have that training assistance or research assistance opportunity where you can get that scholarship, and then, of course, you can save your financial aspects also because every dollar is whatever 85-90 rupees multiplication. Hope that helps, Vishesh. Then there's a question from Praveen. For a year, how many percentage of students getting placement compared to the students joining the TSR? Is there any data available? As I told you, Praveen, right, we don't have that because, as I told, right, we have 2 year of window after the course completion, so it becomes little complicated to measure. But largely, as I told, as long as students are regular with our assignments and projects, right, as I told, we are, comfortably we can say that it is 100%. Okay. But yeah, if somebody is not regular, tomorrow they are coming and signing for the course, they won't get it. Okay. But people are doing that, they're all getting 100%. Okay. But batch wise also we done some analysis, right? That numbers also looking very good. Then there are a lot of questions coming up. So yeah, I think we answered the question. Online, I think I'll wait for some time, right? And then there are a lot of questions coming up about online classes. Is it as effective as offline, and how the doubt clarification work and all? Give me some time. Mubin will walk you through the questions, right? Oh my God, there is a lot of questions. Okay, so 8 questions. Prabhakaran, I think we're already around 9 p.m. Let me see. Okay, I think we'll pause for some time because a lot of questions have come. Okay. Okay. Sandeep Sonavare, can you please stop flooding? You are copy pasting the same question. It is flooding my window. Please stop. Okay. Okay. So how are all your questions are getting come to me, right? Okay. I think let me take probably 1 or 2 more questions. Sandeep is telling, sir, how are the IoT placement and eligibility criteria? Whether era password gap is a concern while selection? No. In fact, good number of companies are also coming from an embedded vertical. Okay, the same thing applies there. Whatever we told for embedded applies to IoT. Whatever we do IoT, it applies to embedded. Right? I don't think there is any issue about that. Okay. Then there's a question from Sai Bhavani. Sir, how confident can we be about subject matter expertise of the faculty? Interesting question, right? Like, what type of mentors you have, right? Okay. So let me brief you. Mubin will show you a live demo so that you will get an idea, right? So who are the people who are going to teach me, right? Okay. The folks who are going to teach you, our mentors, right? Let me tell you a few points about our mentors. Right? One, all our mentors, okay, are full-time people. If you look at training institute, typically they will get somebody part-time, this thing, right? We don't have no part-time business, right? We have about 40 people in our mentoring team, all are full-time. Okay? Of course, some of them are working online, offline, delivering those courses, right? That's a mode of delivery. All the 40-member team are the full-time employees of Emertxe. They're part of our technical team, which is headed by Movie, right? One. Okay? So there is no idea of part-time, one part. Second thing is, those people can be categorized into class mentors and lab mentors. Okay. What does a class mentor do? What does a lab mentor do? Give me some time, we'll explain. Okay. But whatever they teach, whatever the subject that they teach, they have a very solid hands-on exposure and experience in what they teach. Okay. I can very proudly say, right, it's extremely hard to be a mentor in Emertxe, right? I'm not joking. When you come to know, right, to become a mentor in Emertxe, it's not easy, right? They go through, solid quality checks, and then they go through real hands-on implementation. Then only they can, by the way, allowed to deliver a course. Okay, because let me tell you one very important thing. Many of you are not seeing that. Good that I'm happy that that question has come up, which Sai Bhavan is asking, because if that is not there, placement companies will not value us. Right? See, it's always me and Mubin, we kind of work like a hand in hand like this, right? So I can go and tell, okay, we can line up companies. For example, let me talk about HP, right? Like the same team where I used to work, even Mubin used to be part of HP, right? We bring them in, right? If the student is not able to demonstrate that skill set, they will not value us. Right? So, hey, what, I may very well go and, recruit from a walk-in, right? Why do I come to you, right? And if the student has to demonstrate the skill, the mentor has to skill them, right? Okay, I tell an analogy is like something like the kitchen, where the real dish is getting cooked, right? Okay, so be rest assured that they're all subject matter experts, right? They really know what they're doing, and they bring in a lot of rigor and a lot of, hands-on part of it, right? Again, I can very proudly say that we are the best when it comes to mentoring and support. Mubin will talk about it, but I'm happy that somebody is talking about mentors, because if you look at 95% of the time, right, people talk about placement, ye wala milega kya, wo mela milega kya, I'm this, I'm that, right, will this happen, will that happen, right? But I'm happy that Sai Bhavani asked that question, that I really appreciate you, that somebody is really bothering, because many of them don't understand that. They believe companies come to us just like that. In fact, the more effort we put, we can get more companies. That's not an issue. Okay, as I told, companies are looking recruit beyond IITs and NITs, right? But the point is, if a mentoring is not good, or look at Emertxe as a restaurant, right? I am from placement team. I'm putting a nice decoration outside. Okay, I'm a restaurant, right? Nice table, nice chair, nice AC. Everything is very nice. But what if my kitchen is not good, right? And they serve you a dish which is not at all tasty, right? You don't come, right? It's very critical. Okay, of course, both are important. You prepare a very good dish, nobody is coming to eat, that is also not issue, right? That's why I said, right, placement and training team work very, very closely in Emertxe. Be rest assured that, when it comes to our quality standards, we maintain very, very high quality standard. I can be very proud of my team, and you can be rest assured that value will be delivered, right? Okay. So thank you for answering the question. I asked this question because I had a bad experience. Yeah, I know. I know that's where you come from, right? That's why I'm taking this as an opportunity, because majority of the organizations, if you ask me in a very simple line, what is the success ratio? What is the reason of success of Emertxe? It is because of our mentoring team. Okay, I can close my eyes and tell any day. Okay, yes, companies will come. I'm not disrespecting other team, right? My other team members are sitting, right? I'm not disrespecting them, right? The point is that is the most difficult part, right? Getting a tier 2 student, putting them through a system in a matter of 4 to 5 months, making them ready, where microchips and qualcomms and NXPs are going to come and recruit them. That's not a joke. It is a lot of effort that goes in. That's where our mentoring coming in. Okay. So thank you, Sai Bhavani. I'm happy that somebody asked my question about mentors, and I can also boast about my mentoring team, right? Even though I am from placement side. Okay. So please answer my questions. Navya Singh, let me pick it up, Navya. Okay. And there is a question from Bilyaminu. Bilyaminu asked a placement possibility for someone like me from Europe. Let me be very clear. We will not be able to commit placement for anybody outside India. Okay, because we don't have any placement wing in Europe and any other countries, right? we will not be able to help you. Yes, we do have ambitions of going international, right? Hopefully, we'll have some wing operating from, at least a placement type of wing operating from Europe for some time, right? But as of now, we cannot commit. You can only come and do the course. And even the companies are recruiting in India, they're all expecting people from Indian origin only, right? If you're from foreign origin, you cannot, again, all the visa restriction and all, these days it's not very comfortable, right? So getting an India working visa is also not so easy. So we are only primarily supporting companies based out of India, okay? Okay. So there's a question from Anusha. Sir, in your slides, full stack developer was mentioned. Can you highlight about that? Yeah, Anusha. The full stack web developer is another beast altogether. That's about web development, which includes the front end, back end, and the database. So we used to do courses based on, mean stack. You might have heard of MongoDB, Express, Angular, and Node, right? But unfortunately, we have stopped that particular, course due to pandemic. We are not able to resume it yet. Okay, so we are predominantly doing the IoT and embedded course. But we do have plans to start the full stack, and that we used to do in a different sister brand called WebStack Academy. We have plans to restart them, but not immediately. Okay, we are not doing actively the full stack web development course because of the pandemic. Then our the mentoring team got shifted, and there are a lot of challenges we've gone through, right, due to pandemic, right. So that's the reason we have paused it. We do have plan to restart it, right. Okay, that's your answer, Anusha. Navya, I don't know what questions you have. Let me check. Yeah, okay. I think, yeah, okay. So, Navya is asking, so do you have separate course for IoT or is it included in embedded, right? So, Navya, we have a separate course for IoT because if you look at embedded, it's part of IoT, right? As I told, embedded plus networking protocols plus cloud plus some amount of application knowledge. This is what makes us an IoT. Embedded is part of it. Right, so we have a separate course for IoT. Okay, we are planning to that course also now going online. Shortly we'll we'll post a webinar for this one also. Okay, so don't you have combination of courses? Say Saida, not combination, but even though there is some correlation, but again mixing it up becomes see, one point we need to understand is Saida, right. Today, like I spoke about spoken English, right? People become IoT also become a fad. Where people attend a 4-day of IoT workshop and say, "I know IoT." Okay, we don't want to do it for namesake. When we do something, we want to do it with real depth. Okay, that's why we kept it separately. Just mixing them. That way, we can also put full stack web development. We can even put mobile development, right? Then it becomes like one mixed veg curry, right? It will not serve good. Okay, for us, we are very clear. It's a very specific course, very specific skills, so that we can attract the companies. We don't want to mix it up. Okay, hope it's clear, right? Okay. Then Saida is asking, so I'm working environment field from past 6 years, but I studied my master's in embedded systems. I want to know how to switch this. Yes, you can enroll for the course. Yeah, I don't know whether you're still working or whether you quit, Saida. Whatever may be the case, it is possible. Okay, join the course, build your skill set, and then you can very well, you can switch to embedded. As I showed you, right, a lot of success stories I have shown you. Very well, you can part of that also. Okay. Then there's a question from Navya, which field is better in terms of pay, VLSI or embedded? Please answer in detail, right? So again, pay is a very, very subjective, term. Okay, we cannot generalize saying that this pays more than that, that pays more than that. Okay. That is wrong. In a way, I tell students also not to look at a job from a salary point, only from a salary point of view. It's all about your learning and then how you take more responsibilities and grow in the long run and things like that, right? So that way, do not, see any job, not only, it could be an IT job, it could be marketing job, sales job, technical job, non-technical job, doesn't matter, right? Do not measure a job just because, how much it is going to pay. Yes, it is important. Your bank balance should look good. I'm not denying that. We all work towards that, but do not judge by that. Okay. So if you ask me, VLSI and embedded, right? Both of them have its own, benefits. Both of them pay well. I would put it like that. But again, which company, what is the experience, what is the skill set? It all depends. It's a very, very broad term. But I would request Navya not to look at it from a salary perspective. Since you are at an entry level, don't bother too much about it. Okay. So Saida is telling, I'm still working, sir. I visited your office but couldn't get appropriate approach. I need to know how job opportunity for me in this field if I do well. I don't know. Saida, whom did you meet? Did you meet any of our counselors? You can just, recently shifted to Bangalore. Did you visit our office? Did you meet any of our counselors? Okay. So let me take down Saida. Let me check, whom did you meet, right? I don't know whom did you meet. Okay, yesterday I visited around 6:30. Okay. I don't know. See, maybe it's a little late. Our folks might have left. Okay. So the point I'm trying to say is like, you can, get into that. Only thing is focus. Okay. I showed you so many examples of people who achieved their career break, right? Okay. As long as you stay focused, build your skill set, it is possible. You can work and then get a job in core, and then you can, get relief from that company and then get it, right? The approach is very simple. You don't need to do too much, break your head. Okay. Just do whatever is being told in the course. You will be able to achieve the career break. No problem. Okay. Hope that's clear, Saida. Then Madhu is in, sir, if you place in one company and another good company, can we attend that company also, sir? Okay. So we make it very clear from the beginning, Madhu. You can attend multiple companies. As I told, right, mathematically, 100 plus companies are coming, 22 days working days. They are finding hard to schedule the company, right? That means, say what, as a student, you'll get multiple opportunity to attend multiple interviews. Okay. But once any company confirms an offer, right? Okay, you need to join that company only. We don't allow multiple job opportunities. Okay. You may say, for example, you're attending 3 companies, company A, B, and C. A came and said, they're ready to give you an offer, right? You need to join A. B and C, we will take care. Our placement team will tell, Madhu got placed in company A, B and C is not available. Okay? There's a reason behind it. If I explain, it will take too long a time. Probably, we'll take it up in the induction session. Hopefully, you'll join our course, right? Okay. So I really want to speak to you and be clear to join. No problem, Saida. We have even senior folks available. Okay. I don't know. Yesterday 6:30, my folks might have left. That could be the reason. Anyways, I will take down your name. I will arrange a call back from our counseling team. They will explain you things over phone, or if you wanted to come down, I would say request you to come little early or schedule a time. If still doesn't work out, yeah, we can meet up and then we can help you. Not a problem. Anyways, I've taken down your name. Okay. Our system should have your name. Your name is pretty unique, right? We'll be able to look it up. Not a problem. Okay. So please mention job description in detail in the Emertxe social media post with company name. I think we are putting, Ishan, but if you put everything, right, then it will not look like a social media post. It look like a job description, right? But what we do, as I already shown, right, in our internal Google group, which I showed you, right, which students will be part of once they join our course, right? In that, we mention all the information, whatever the salary, everything, right? For example, we cannot put that in a Google group, right? Okay, for example, you take this, right? Let us say, this Karen X technology, right? We put everything here. What is the eligibility? What is that? What is the bond? Somebody was asking about Pune, right? Look at this, right? Pune company has come already, right? What is the salary? Right? This company is paying 5.5. We put it here. Okay. I cannot put this in a social media, right? It will look like an essay. People will run away, right? Okay. So Ishan, I think more than that, it is all about it's not about the social media. It is the booth that is running in your head, right? Because what is indirectly you guys are asking me, I tell in every webinar, right? Due to the way how engineering college works, right? In the beginning of your engineering colleges promised something, but that did not happen. So you already have in your head, right? Now as a training institute, right, when we promise something, we are already having a booth. Is it really true, right? You do all jobs. So I said, you become 007 James Bond, go and do enough research in our social media, go and do enough research in websites, Google search, right? Our data will remain the same. Okay, my request is, right, it's not about me putting that much information. If we put information like this, people will run away, right? It is just to ensure that we be transparent and share the latest data openly with anyone, whether it's an Emertxe student or outsider. From day one, we have been transparent with our placement information, right? Which we continue to do. Okay. If you want to do any additional research, it's up to you. You want to do a research project, Emertxe placement, is it true or not? Not 7 James Bond, Ishan K. do it. Okay, leave it up to you, right? There is a question here, Navya Singh. So can we keep applying in every company that comes in Emertxe if we are eligible? And if we didn't clear that company, can't we apply to this company after a few months, right? Yes, you can apply, you can keep applying, okay, until you get placed, as I already told. And can I reapply to the same company? Again, that depends on the company. For example, if you look at this, I think one red color letter was there. You see this? You see the couple of letters here, red colors, right? If you applied last time, you did not shortlisted, you applied. But you applied, you've taken the written test. For example, some companies will be coming in every two weeks. Let us say last week, 2 weeks back, you applied, but you did not get selected. Don't apply again. Some companies will give a window, right? Let us say 3 months or 6 months. Again, you can reapply. Okay. Yes, you can reapply. Depends on the company. But don't apply to the same company every week or every 2 weeks. Some company will come every 2 weeks. For example, Continental, Harman, right? Every 2 weeks it will be coming. If you attended last time, don't apply again. Okay. So that would be the thing. But again, please note, this is all set by the companies. It's them who are telling, right? Then after 3 months or 6 months, they will allow you. That time you can reapply. Not a problem. Then Saida is telling, yes, course is 6 months long. Isn't if students are on fast track and have quick learning skills? See, Saida, I don't know how to comment on that, right? Okay. See, I tell each one of you come with some disease. Okay. Sorry to use the word disease, right? For example, 4 years of engineering has not yielded results. Okay. And working in a totally different domain for 4 years has not yielded results. Okay. And people have done MTech for 2 years extra that did not yield results. Okay. Isn't it fair that from our perspective, we ask for 6 months? Okay. If that also, if you wanted to fast track, it's not going to happen. Okay. 6 months, I'm telling minimum you need to allow yourself to skill yourself, right? Then we can make, right? You can, then what, why not 6 months? We can make it 3 months. Then why not 3 months? We can make 1 month, right? It doesn't work like that. Skill building takes time. And the two, building skills in depth really takes time. Okay. So we don't want to shortcut it. There is no, I will do this. For example, students come and ask us, so you teach 7 modules. Can you do 2 modules in parallel? He said, no, that's suicidal. 1 module itself you will not be able to do because the intensity in which the content is going to get delivered, the amount of assignments and projects you need to build, that itself is quite challenging. Believe me. Okay. So it's not going to work. Fast track, and see, you can do anything, for example, right? That way you can buy a course from Udemy, 40 hours of video. You can sit and watch in 2 days, like how you binge watch, your Netflix serial, right? Okay, will they give you a job? That's the question, right? Your job building, career transition takes time. My request to all of you attend this particular webinar is to at least give yourself, okay, and give us a 6 months of time. Okay, that's the thing. Yeah, disease has to be cured from the roots, so it takes time to understand, of course, right? Okay, so at least give us 6 months time. Fast tracking will not work. Okay, one night magic will not work, right? Okay, please allow yourself. And by the way, we are telling the 6 months timeline based on our existence in this particular segment for 18 plus years now. So allow yourself, allow us to some time so that we both can go and demonstrate the skill set to the company and get placed. Hope that's clear. Okay. Then we have Saida again asking government of Andhra Pradesh. I think you have a lot of questions, Saida. I'll arrange a call back. In the interest of time, we're already 9:15, right? I'll arrange a call back. If it still doesn't work, we can have a call. Not an issue. Okay. Then Navya is asking, sir, if company offers less pay, then there's another company offer better pay. Later, we'll not be allowed to join the later one. Yes, that's correct. Okay, whatever company gives you an offer, you need to join. Okay, pay wise doesn't matter because for us, every company which is recruiting in Emertxe is important. Okay, so we don't differentiate. Some companies paying more, some companies paying less. Right? We say whether it's a core company and is it giving opportunity for our students. As I said, right? Don't measure any job by its salary. I think again and again you are, everything you are putting a price tag and asking, right? Don't be like that, Navya. Let me, please take it as a humble advice from my side, right? Don't take everything commercially. Okay, you are too young to do that. Okay. Okay. Saturday and Sunday also open for inquiries. Saturday we are open, Manoj, till 4 p.m. Okay. Sunday we are closed. Okay. Okay, so please show us the counselor contact. I'll show you, Abhay, in the last slide. I have my counselor contact. You can take a screenshot and then you can contact them. Okay. And okay, then no sir, I talk so many Emertxe. I'm not much satisfied. I will join. I cannot explain my exciting level. Join. I'm so much satisfied. Okay, I'll join. I cannot explain my exciting level to join Emertxe. But in July, no problem, Ishan. Okay, it is your choice. Right? No need to pressurize yourself. Right? You know, take your time. Whenever you feel appropriate, take the decision. Okay? And by the way, one very last silver bullet you need to keep it in mind is like you join this course, join our embedded course, join our IoT course. Don't join our IoT course, embedded course. Go and join some other course. It is up to you. Okay? But what my request as a senior person, in the interest of you that you're attending a webinar on a Saturday night 9 p.m. Whatever decision you make, right? Ensure that it is for a long term. Don't do it, because something gives you a 3 month this thing, that thing. It's like a circus, right? Ensure that whatever decision you make, it remains fruitful for you long term basis, right? Okay. Navya is asking, is it compulsory to attend every interview? It's up to you. If you apply, it is not necessary that you need to apply every company, right? You see that some company you are not okay, you don't apply only. But if the company shortlist your call for the interview, you need to attend. Okay. Now there is some placement policy. Unfortunately, if we go detail, it will go quite long, right? Okay. So, but if you feel that this company, sir, I'm not comfortable, sir, I don't want to apply, don't apply. There's no force. 100+ companies are coming every month, right? Okay. You can ignore. Even though if you're eligible, you can very well, you can do that, right? Okay. Then Saida is asking, sir, your course is best for freshers in entire Bangalore. But how it is to experienced people, the placement drive, we again will be placed as a freshers, or experience will be valid? Again, it's a very interesting question, Saida. See, when I say our course, right? Just put a mathematical example, I tell you, right? Let's say our 6 months course, right? Let us say one particular student, let us say you, Saida as an example. Saida has joined. Done all the assignments and projects, whatever told in the 6 months course. Okay. So this 6 months of all the assignments and projects of Emertxe, it is equivalent to a 24 months real-time work experience in any company. Okay. 6 months, all the assignment and project is equal to you working in any embedded company for 24 months. This I am not telling. Okay. Don't quote me, right? This is being told by people working in NXP, people working in Altron or now Capgemini, people working in Qualcomm. Right? Our recruiting people are told. In fact, we even have mails to show you that. Okay, so that is the intensity of the skill set. Point number one. Point number two. Now this course is taken by a fresher or a working professional. Right? That working professional, when I say, you come in all designs, right? Somebody is a 2-year, 3-year, 1 year, technical, non-technical, related to embedded, not related to embedded, right? You come in all whims and fancies of permutation and combination. So the question is, when two people go, let's say student A and student B, right? Okay, and applying for the same company, and one student is a fresher and one student is having some amount of experience, whatever may be the experience. Both of them done the. See, please note, both of you should do assignment project. There is no negotiation there. You should skill yourself, right? There is no negotiation there. But once you go into the company, how your previous experience will be considered, that purely depends on company. For example, let me show you a recent case here, right? Let me pull up this case. This girl, right? What I talk about, Aishwarya. Recently, I talked about January example. Aishwarya had this, I think she was working there for 2 or 3 years. She's a 2018 password, which I already mentioned. She was working in an ADA as a, as a trainee, or, because DRDOs and all research organizations, they're not hiring in full time, right? She had some work experience, right? But when they hired her, they hired her at a 1 level above. Okay, 1 level above. 1 level above whom you may ask, right? Again, let me, all talking with proof points. So let me show you quickly. Post memo in Jan. Oh, sorry. So Not this. 1 minute. Let me open another. Or I'll open LinkedIn. I think my folks might have pinned it up. Yeah, you see this guy, right? South, right? South and South and Aishwarya Chandani, they both got placed in same Qualcomm in the same time. You can see this is January 2022 and this is also January 2022. But you see him, he went for a 14.5, whereas Aishwarya Chandani went for 17.5 plus stock option, which I mentioned, right? If you add up, then only that so-called number of 27.5 comes into picture, right? So now what Qualcomm did was they consider Aishwarya's previous experience and they fit her into one level above. Okay, so that's how companies consider, and it is purely up to them. Okay, we cannot go and say, hey, consider Aishwarya's experience. Right? We cannot force you. What we commit to people is that people can break into an embedded domain. That's what we commit. We cannot say your previous experience will be valid and that is the level of salary. We'll never commit that. Time and again I'm telling people that we are not the type of people who will promise you some type of salary. We are here to promise a skill and a career path, right? So that's how it works. Okay, it will be considered depending on the company. One example I'm sure is Qualcomm. Like that, many other examples are there. Some companies will say we don't care whether you are a fresher or an experienced. We'll consider it the same level. That's up to them. We are not here to force. Okay. Hope that's clear, Saida. Then Sandeep is asking, so will startup company also visit Emertxe? Of course, yes. Lot of startup companies, right? Only reason why I am not talking about startup companies is you guys don't allow me to talk about startup companies. Only you want to see Qualcomms and NXPs, Honeywell. So people are only interested in watching MNC logos, right? Yes, there are tons of companies who are working in startup space. Okay, are hiring our students, right? I cannot take logos again. It's already 9:20. I don't know how we'll close the webinar. Yes, a lot of things we do that, right? So can you do both embedded and IoT course? No. To take one course, that itself will be very hard for you to digest, right? Do any one course, that itself will be more than sufficient, right? So Ravi Kumar Gupta, please clear my doubt of communication skills. I think I already clarified, Ravi. Communication skills is equal to confidence, right? You focus on the skill building, confidence will come naturally. Then your communication skill also will be taken care of. No amount of spoken English course will help you. Okay, hope that's clear. Okay. What is the last date of applying for online batch? We'll get recorded lecture. You will get recorded lecture, Navya. Okay. Okay. Then dates I will let you know. Okay. What did South did before? South is a 2021 pass out, yeah. Sanket. Okay. He's a recent batch guy. Whereas Aishwarya is a older batch. She had some work experience. Okay. South joined as a fresher, whereas Aishwarya had some work experience. See now you jerk me this side also, that side also, right? Now Saida is jerking me from experience side. Now Sanket is jerking me from the fresher side, right? Right? Everything we have answered, don't worry. Okay. All right. Anyways, it's always fun to answer all these questions. Okay. I know it's 9:20. Can you get some quick response? Are you getting a better idea about how this job works, right? I may not be able to answer any more questions. I need to move on. Okay, we are still in the initial side. Is new batch starting every month? Yes, Arun. Right? Every month we start batches. Okay? Did you give a better idea? Are you able to connect whatever is being told so far? Is it helping you? Can you get some responses? Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mohan is giving me 5 stars. Sanket is giving yes. Can I get some more? Prabhakaran says yes. Yes, sir. Ishan is putting yes, sir. Okay. Manasa is telling yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Excellent guidance, says Abhay. Then Vishal is telling yes, definitely. Okay. How South got 14.5? You are good at. See, of course, Sanket, he did our course well. Okay. He didn't add any 7 heads and 5 hands. Whatever is told in the course, he did well. That's why he got the salary. Okay. Nice suggestion, says Saida. Thanks, Saida. Sinita Sada says yes, sir. Okay. All right. I know it's already 9:30 because we lost 15 minutes time due to the glitches. Okay. Let me quickly run through and then we will move on to the subsequent slide. Okay. So let me. Oh, sorry. Are you able to see the course demo? Can I get into the course side of it? Because we largely spoken about the, the placement side of it, because we need to discuss about the, technical side, right? Because I know this takes time, but today it took little more. That's all. Okay. Many doubts are cleared. Thank you, sir. This is Nikita. Okay, welcome. Okay, fine. So let me get into the course level details now, because some of you had, especially online course aspirants, spoke about, how the online doubt clarification works and things like that. So let me explain that. Okay. So what are we trying to do in this course, right? As a technically, we are trying to take people who are having the skill gaps, right? Either it could be a fresher or having some work experience, but there's a gap with respect to skill, and then provide them a hands-on learning experience, and then address the skill gap so that they become ready to attend the selection process with whatever the companies that we've seen so far. So there are three options are there when it comes to our course. One is the offline course, which is easy to understand, where you come to our Bangalore center. People who are familiar with Bangalore, we are in MG Road. Okay, so they come and then they stay in the come to our center, and then they do the course. Right, that's a 6-month duration. And if you're not willing to do that, you want to learn online. For online, there are two options are there. One is what you call online regular, where you will be doing the classes in the daytime, and we have online evening, right, where you will be doing the classes in evening time. Okay. So evening time, mainly we have kept it for the working professionals. But yeah, some students are, even regular students also preferring the evening class. Okay, there is no restriction. But for working professionals, the day may not suit, because they'll have their work, they'll have their work related priorities and things like that. Okay, this is a high level what happens in these three offerings, right? So let us go into a little bit of detail and understand how these three courses are different. Little bit more. Let me go dig one more level lower. Okay, so let me go there. Detailed comparison on various parameters: duration, total number of modules, daily routine, class timings, weekly plan, recorded videos, hardware, 2-year placement support. So these are all the parameters. So let me quickly show what happens in our offline course. This is for our offline or the physical mode of course. So where the course duration is 6 months, and then total modules are 8. Module listing, like we'll show in the next slide. Basically, Linux systems, C, C++, Linux internals, microcontrollers, embedded Linux, right, and then Qt programming, microcontroller programming. So these are the 8 modules that we teach. Okay. So daily, what is the routine? 2 to 2.5 hours of classes per day. Similarly, 2 to 2.5 hours of labs per day. So totally, you spend about 4 to 5 hours in our center. So typically, it could be either in the morning slot or in the evening slot. Let's say morning slot, it starts from 9:30 to 1:30. The evening slot means it will start around, let us say, 1:30 or 2 to 6:30. Right? That is how the slottings are done. Okay? Overall, class and lab put together. Right? So classes are typically scheduled at 9:30, 11:30 or 2 o'clock, and then followed by lab. For example, if you are doing a 9:30 class, 9:30 to 11:30 it will be class. From 11:30 to 1:30 it will be lab. Right? So if your class starts at 11:30, maybe 9:30 to 11:30 you do a lab, then you do the class. Right? So that's a kind of a duration works in a class. Right? And then 6 days a week. Okay, Monday to Saturday. So typically, Saturdays, our mentors also use it along with the regular classes. They also schedule your various test preparation sessions, etc. That also done. Classes also happen, but sometimes they use Saturday as a mechanism to do the preparation activities. Right. For an offline course, there is no recorded videos. Of course, you all come learn physically, so we don't give the access to recorded videos. Right. Hardware, we give pick and arm boards. So these boards are available with our team. So when you come, there will be a reception where you get the board, connect to your laptop, work. While going back, you return and then go home. For PIC, we give a Rido Labs PIC board, and for ARM, embedded Linux and ARM model, we give the BeagleBone board. Okay, that's what as far as the hardware is concerned. They are physical boards, right? So this course students will get a 2-year placement support. From the time they finish the course, up to 2 years, they'll get a placement support. You can start applying after the 3rd month, right? Okay, that's about the placement part. Okay. Now, this is about the people who want to come to Bangalore and then study. Now, let us talk about the online. As I told, online, there are 2 options are there. One is the online regular, and then the online evening part of it, right? So, when you say this online regular, this is a 5 months course. Okay, and then in online there is one module which is less. Okay, there's one module called Qt programming which is not there in the online, because we felt one of the key challenges with respect to online is engaging them for a longer period of time. So physical means it's fine, right? When you come to center, you meet our mentors, you meet our other people, so absolutely no problem. But when it comes to what do you call the online, it's quite hard to engage. That's why we kept one module less, but that has got no impact on placements. You don't need to worry, right? And daily routine, how it will work? 2 hours of classes will be there. Again, the classes will be scheduled at 9:30, 11:30, or 2 o'clock. Then 1.5 hours of lab will be there, right? Where you will be explained with a lab assignment or the problem statement, right? Okay, once the concept is done in the class, in the lab, they will explain you about an assignment or a project, right? After that, 3 days it will be there. And then 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., you will be provided with a WhatsApp support, right? Where you can ask doubts. Somebody will ask minutes. How do we ask doubts? There are 2 mechanisms. One is posting in an LMS forum, an online learning management system forum, which Mubin will show shortly. And added to that, you also have this WhatsApp-based mechanism where you can get your doubts clarified, right? Okay. Again, 6 days a week, and then all the sessions will get recorded. In fact, this session is also getting recorded, and then we will share the recorded video of this also, because some of them might have dropped out due to the generally it gets pulled out in terms of time, gets stretched out. All the classes, maybe the next day or one more day later, it will be uploaded into system and given you access. So in case you miss a class due to which you don't recommend, but in worst case, let us say there's a network issue, power outage, you're not able to attend, you can, or you want to use it for a revision for the next day, you can do that, and then you can come back to that particular class, right? All the classes will be recorded and given access, right? And this particular recorded deal, and then with respect to hardware, and as we'll be showing shortly, the physical hardware we don't do. We take an approach of simulator, where you'll be using a software simulator, right? And then you can very well use that simulator for your doing your experiment. Shortly, Mubin will show how simulators can be used. By the way, both the boards as well as the simulator have got the same effectiveness, so you don't need to worry about that. Learning in hardware, real hardware, and learning in the simulator will have the same effect. You are not missing anything, right? Placement wise, it's the same. Okay, no difference. Then comes the third option, which is nothing but our online evening batch, right? Where we have the this is about our online evening batch. Same as our online regular batch, many aspects. Where is the difference? The difference comes in 2 angles. One is, you can see the classes are fixed from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Here you can see the classes can be for any date time here. Here the classes are fixed here, and then there's a slight difference in the lab, because what happens for a working professional, attending 1.5 hours of lab for 3 days becomes quite challenging, right? So rather what we've done is 1 hour of lab session for 5 to 6 days. The same duration, we just spread it over 5 to 6 days, right? For the doubt clearing, you can ask from any time from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. via WhatsApp and forum. Okay, that remains the same. Okay. Apart from that, 6 days a week, recorded video, simulator, everything will remain the same. So these are all the course, how our 3 courses are different. Okay. Are you getting an idea, guys, about how the 3 courses are? Can I get some responses? Okay. So there are some few questions. Let me ask answer some questions. Course demo, it will come now. Course will show, and then embedded systems May month course begin dates. Prabhakaran, we have April dates as of now, which I'll share. Okay. May dates you need to wait. Okay, because we announce 1 month date. Once the batch fills up, then we move on to the next batch. Right. As of now, I have dates available for April. May also should be there. Our counselors can tell you some. Typically, you can assume that it starts around the last week of every month. You can say 25th and around, right? 1 or 2 days here and there. Okay, that's how our batches are planned. So you can tentatively assume May 25th can be a assumption you can make for the May batch date. Okay. So then Sanket is asking, can MacBook be used? You can use, okay, because nothing, but largely we recommend Linux, but MacBook can be used, not an issue. But there could be some software like for example some IDEs which you use. You need to check whether it supports Mac or not. But our students, we recommend them to use a Ubuntu Linux, which we also help them to install. In fact, installing Linux is our first session, right, where we recommend you to use that particular installation. But specifics you can discuss with your mentors, right? Online course duration, online evening class time, etc. Madhu is asking. Madhu hopes that the table which is there in the screen now clarifies the differences. So today's webinar will be uploaded on YouTube. Yes, Navya, I will record it. Maybe we last initial few minutes, probably I'll cut it. Okay. Next week, early next week, we will mail you. Okay, for all the participants who are attending today, or some of them who dropped off due to the time extension, we'll mail the recorded session. No problem. Okay, you can take a look into it. Okay. Doubt clarification weekly. Doubt clarification is every day, Madhu. Okay, doubt clarification is from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day in the WhatsApp chat you can put, right? The problem, lab consists of three pieces again. One is the lab mentor will explain the assignment, then you need to do, then you need to submit. There are three aspects, right? The lab explanation, where they'll explain an assignment on project, that happens three times or 3 to 5 times, whatever is mentioned. Doubt clarification, you can ask every day from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, via chat and WhatsApp and your forum. Okay, hope that's clear. Again, there's a question from Krishna about fees. As I told, my counseling team will be the right people to ask. Please ask them. I'll anyway share their contact shortly. Okay. Then it's crystal clear. Ishan is asking, can we use MacBook? Can I answer? Offline students also can get recorded videos. Not now, Manoj. Okay, because anyway, people are coming and taking the physical classes. Yes, it is, last webinar also some students asked this question. I put across to my team. We are evaluating that. We are not taking any decision. As of now, we are not giving. We are giving the recorded videos only to the online students. Okay. April batch dates. Give me some time, Saida. In the last slide, I have dates. Okay. Then Sanket is telling I will use VMware. That's fine, Sanket. Either use VMware, some will use dual boot. Those things are logistics which you can work it out once your classes start. Okay. Our lab mentors will be the best people to suggest you which one works better for you. Okay. So Ishan is saying, so do we get recorded video and assignment practice for the question? Yes, you will get recorded video for the anything that they come in the live session, whether it's a class or a lab, it will get recorded. Okay. So in the class, it will be a conceptual explainer followed with the hands-on, which Movin will show shortly. In the lab, basically it's about the problems where you need to solve. Okay, that's what it is. May batch data 100% is there, sir, because we have exams. I understand, Madhu, because 2022 students, they are having the exams coming up shortly. So typically, as I said, right, every month we start batch. There's no doubt about that. Dates, you can roughly assume it to be 25th of that particular month. Okay, 25th of that particular month, you can say maybe 1 or 2 days here and there. Okay. So May 25th would be the May batch date. Whether it's online or offline, 2 days, 1 or 2 days here and there. Largely, you can assume around that. Okay. Ishan is asking, so do we get recorded video and assignment practice for 2 years? Again, there's a question. Because this is also a typical question which we get asked, right? How long will I get access to our video? Again, there's a debate we are doing internally. How long should we give access to this learning management system, which Movin will showcase shortly? Again, we've not taken any decision, but ever since we started our course, right? We started this online course in May 2020 when the pandemic has hit. We went online, which I mentioned in my initial time. I think still we have not removed access for any student. Okay, Movin says still the old students, even if they got jobs, they're still accessing. We have not taken any decision, but yeah, our server load is increasing. Many logins are getting created. Often we run out of space in our server. We need to take a decision on it. But as of now, we have not removed access for anyone. Okay, our policy is similar to your, whether an offline student can get a recorded video or not, or when an online student, how long will I get an access for 2 years or not? We need to take a decision. But as of now, no issues. We are not removed access for even our May 2020 students. We don't need to bother about it. Ishan. Okay. Madhu is telling clarify. And then Saida is asking, is there a fee difference or will it be same? Okay. Yes, there is a fee difference. Okay. Your online course fee would be lesser than the offline course fee. Okay. Because there's one module less. That is one of the main reasons. Okay. Apart from that, people who, then again, somebody may be asking, right? So should I go for online? Should I go for offline? Okay. One is like as such, there's a difference. Online fee is less, right? And please note, overall budget wise, right? If you wanted to consider between online and offline, your online will be working out much, much cheaper than offline. Okay? The reason is when you come to Bangalore, right, it's not only about the fee that you pay to us as an institute, right? You need to stay here, your accommodation, your travel, your food, etc. And Bangalore is expensive, right? Okay, people relate, right? Can easily relate to it. But let us say you are going to stay for 6 months time, right? Okay, easily you need to spend about 10,000 rupees a month to live a decent life in Bangalore as a bachelor, right? That 60 to 70,000 rupees will get added up along with the course fee. So that way it will look like a big number, right? But in terms of placements, no, there is absolutely no difference. Both of them will get the same opportunity, right? Overall, cost effective was online is better. Effectiveness wise, which is same, right? But yeah, we leave it to the student, right? Some students, no, sir, I still want to sit in a class and learn. Some students will tell me, right? As I told, my alumni students are telling, right? Okay, their younger brother, they're sending us and say, no, sir, no, online, let them learn the way I learned, right? So no problem. Okay, there's a student's choice. Okay, it's your choice. But cost-wise, your online will work out way cheaper if you even add the accommodation expenses. Okay. Then Ashutosh is asking, sir, if I opted for, 1 second, that's the question here. If I opted for online class, then can come to offline class for the 8th module. Should be possible, Ashutosh, but there's a fee delta which you need to pay. Then you can come and attend the 8th module offline. Okay? Then lab and class will be interactive or one-sided. Can you ask questions in the class? What do you think, Navya? This webinar, right? Okay. Based on webinar, what is your assumption? Will our classes will be interactive or one-sided? What is your guess? Navya, are you there? Interactive, right? Of course, it is interactive, right? Okay. 10 years movie will show you, okay, a sample of our class. You can take a look, right? Okay. So highly it will be interactive. It's not like, somebody comes and, runs a, what do you call, a monologue, right? It will be two-way, okay. Again, there's a question recorded same. So May batch dates and say, 2 years, right? Then Navya is asking, so if you join the course as of now online, and later come to Bangalore, okay, come to Bangalore, emerge in offline mode, or some personal guidance or query, or some career guidance. See, we don't recommend you to switch. Okay, when you come online, only do online. Okay, if you want to come in online, offline, if you come offline, that would be the recommended, because mixing it is very difficult, I would say. Okay, I don't recommend that. Okay, whatever mode you choose, you stick to it. But in terms of effectiveness placement, there is no difference. Okay, Navya, these are all the doubts running in your mind, right? Okay, for us, it's the same. Okay, hope that's clear. Okay. Will today's webinar will be uploaded? Yes. Okay, I think Ishan, I clarified, right? Okay. Okay. So thank you, sir. Do remove till I pass out. Okay. Okay. So Prabhakar is asking, sir, I am from Tamil Nadu, sir. In onsite, if we take absent for 1 or 2 days, how will we be able to get the knowledge of those missed sessions, sir? Because 2022 batch convocation it is planned. That's why asking. So 1 or 2 days, it's fine, Prabhakaran. You can manage, right? Our lab, more than class mentors, if you're coming offline, the mentors will be available. You can take their help. The lab mentors also available, and of course your friends will be there. You can manage 1 or 2 days convocation, or 1 or 2 days if you are sick. That's manageable. You don't need to bother. Okay? You will be able to manage if you're offline, no problem. Okay. Then Saida is telling us, we would like to come offline, but your office in middle of Bangalore, and it costs double to reach always. So that I can't help it, right? Rather, I get good feedback for we being in the center of the city, because metro is there, accessible, safety-wise, especially people are coming from different cities, girl students, parents are worried, right? When they see that we are located in the center of the city, metro accessibility, we get positive feedback, right? But if you feel it's hard to reach, due to Bangalore traffic, then opt for online. Okay. We are 90s kids, prefer paper and benches, and I'm worried how online teaching will be, right? Yeah. If you are 90s kid, then I'm an 80s kid, right? Okay. So nothing. It's about your mindset, I would say, right? Okay. You don't need to worry about it. As long as you follow, I don't think there is any issue. Okay. Now we are telling, sir, I have STM, blah, 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 my MCU. Will it help me to implementing things start in the course? Again, don't be hardware specific, Navya, right? We teach, board independent, hardware independent, right? If you have some previous knowledge, it will help you definitely. But specifics you will learn because our course goes in depth. Okay, we don't teach anything board specific or hardware specific or a processor specific, right? As long as whatever mentors, if you have previous knowledge, it will help you. And my recommendation is follow whatever mentors are telling. It will help. Okay. Okay. All right. So let us go on that. As it was online mode of delivery, how it works, a quick thing. Okay. Module wise, we just gave a brief idea. This is how module work. And by the way, we do the discharge system where we do all the other activities, resume building, company specific preparation, mock interviews, because that's also important, right? When preparing an impressive resume, all those things we do. And we also do monthly placement meeting where I meet our placement team meets the students every month, like how we do now, and then clarify their specific questions. Because after you join, right, people will have very different questions, right? The question type will be different, right? We answer those things on a monthly basis, and that also gets recorded and then shared. Okay. All right. I think that's a lot of things we have covered, and now it's time for us to get a hands-on view about how our online ecosystem is, our learning management system, and our chat, doubt clearing, hardware, etc. Whatever I explain, a live view will be shown. Mubin, are you there?
Yes, Jay.
Okay, so let me make you as a presenter. You can Mubin will share, then okay, I'll come back. All right, Mubin, are you able to share your desktop?
Yes.
All right.
All right. I think the screen is visible now. Is it visible, Jay?
Yeah, it's visible. Guys, are you able to see the screen? Mubin has put up a screen. I think there's a C programming thing there. Yeah, Mubin, it's visible. Please proceed, Mubin. So guys, I'll go offline and I'll come back once Mubin completes it. Over to you, Mubin.
Yeah, sure. So as everybody is keen to get an idea about how we take the online classes, so I have just prepared a video which is edited video, cut down version of the video of one of the sessions of the classes which take online. This is for the C programming module. So it's going to run for maybe less than 10 minutes. Maybe I'll fast forward some of the for some time. And following this video, we will also have another video which is for the microcontroller module, wherein you'll get an idea about how the simulator is used and how the IDE is used to write embedded programs and run it using a simulator. So you can listen to this and watch the video.
These are the total memory allocated. Now, after an array has been declared, maybe I want to give the values into the array, because just the array's declaration will have garbage value. Assume I take int array of size 5. Okay, there has to be 20 bytes of memory allocated. Assume this is the 20 bytes of memory allocated for the array. So I'm storing 5 integers. So each integer takes how many bytes? Each integer takes how many bytes? Correct. So each integer takes 4 bytes. So if the starting address of the array is 1000, where will be the next element present? If the starting address of the array is 1000, where will be the next element present? Assume this is 1000. Where will be the next element present? Yes. Each of the element uses 4 bytes. So it is 1004, then 1008, 1012, 1016. To access the array's element, you have to go with something called as the index number. and index number varies between 0 to size minus 1. So very first element will be in index 0, second element will be in index 1, third element will be in index 2, fourth element will be in index 3, and fifth element will be in index 4. Okay. If you just declare the array like this, the array's element will have garbage value by default. So in order to not have a garbage value present inside the memory block, maybe I want certain values to made sit inside it. In such cases, I have to do the array's initialization. To initialize the array, here inside the curly braces, I have to give 5 elements: 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. In that case, that value will be written here. That will be 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Okay, this is how I declare the array. This is how I do the initialization, and this is how the memory for the array will be allocated. Accessing happens with respect to the index number varying between 0 to size minus 1. See here, data type, name, size, where size represents the number of elements. So the total memory occupied by the arrays, number of elements multiplied by size of an element. That is in turn size into size of the data type. If this is the array I'm going to take of 5 size with the values 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, this will be the array. So the very starting address of the array always is called as the base address of the array. This address 1000 will always be called as the base address of the array, or you can also call it as starting address or address of the very first element of the array. All of them means the same, but we usually refer it as base address. Okay, you can call it as base address, or you can call it as the starting address, or you also can call it as the address of first element. Okay, the starting address is called as the base address or starting address or address of the first element of the array. So then it is plus 4, plus 8, plus 12, plus 16. Index has to vary between 0 to size minus 1. So it has to be starting from 0. An array is a collection of similar data type. Elements occupy consecutive memory locations. First element will be in the lowest address and last element will be in the highest address. Elements are indexed from 0 to size minus 1. So if the size of the array is 5, index will vary from 0 to 4. Accessing out of the range array elements would be an illegal access. So whenever you have to access the elements of the array, you have to go with the name of the array, then the index number. Okay, so array of 0, array of 1, like this, you have to go with the index number. So if the index number varies between 0 to 4, I can access only between array of 0 to array of 4. Out of the boundary, that is accessing array of minus 1 or accessing array of 5 is not allowed. It is an illegal access where you might get to see a error. So accessing out of the range array elements would be illegal access. You should not access the elements in array of minus 1 and array of size. And once the memory for the array is allocated, it can never be altered in the runtime. That is, while executing the program, the array size can never be modified. So if you declare an array like this, it will be 20 bytes of memory allocated for sure. So this size can never be altered throughout the program. Again, here in double denom of size 6, there will be 48 continuous bytes already allocated. You never get a chance to increase or decrease the size once it has been allocated. So this is the concept of array. Clear this much? Okay. So have this one noted. The next we will see is how to print the elements of the array. Okay. So there are different ways of printing the array's element, which we will be seeing shortly. Before that, have this one noted. So the next we have got is to print the array's element. So when you are supposed to print the array's element, we usually go with the name of the array and the index number. But that has to be done on a repetitive manner. So what is it necessary to be used? What is it necessary to be used if I have to print? Yes, loop is definitely necessary. So I can print the array's element in any of a loop considered. Observe. Okay. So first I try printing it in a for loop. Int array of size 5. I also do the initialization with 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. I need another integer variable I for the sake of index. So I will first say it as printf arrays elements are. Okay. So I run a for loop for I is equal to 0, I less than 5 and I plus plus, because 5 is the size of the array. Inside this, I go with the printf. Sorry. Yeah, so printf %d \n comma array's name with index. Okay, so first array of 0 will be printed when I will have a 0 taken, then array of 1, then array of 2, array of 3, array of 4. When I becomes 5, 5 lesser than 5 will be condition false. You come out of the for loop. Observe the output here. So I'm compiling and executing. These are the arrays element which I am printing using a for loop. Let me change this.
Alright, so this was a sample demonstration of how an actual class happens for the C module, and one of the topics which we picked up was for arrays. So I'll show another demo for the microcontroller module, so you can have a look at it.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. In today's class, let's see how we can write an embedded program to toggle the LEDs connected to the board bit. So now to write the embedded program, we are going to use the tool MPLAB XID. So you can see here. So this is the MPLAB XID. If you open this, you will see this as a starting page. So some projects are mentioned here, data sheet is available here. Even if you worked on some recent project, that list is available. See, and even you will get the microchip login. So if you have a login ID password, you do the login, and you can do the purchase on a microchip website, right? Okay, so now let me go back to the question. So question was, we wanted to toggle the LEDs connected to the port D. So now here in this MPLAB ID, you can see these are the different tools available. So we can use these tools as per the requirement. For example, this is to create a new file. It's to create a new project. It is to open the project. This option is to do the build. You can see different many options are there. So as per the need, what we will do, we will take an approach. Whatever we need it, we will start using those things. Now here in this MPLAB XID, I already created a project and kept it ready. So project name is what? LEDs. So in this project, I created. So when this project is created, this MPLAB XID create some organized sections. You can see here. So now to write this program, to write the embedded code, we need a main.c. So generally .c files goes here in this source file sections. Header files goes here, make file will go here, linker script will go to this section. Or if you need any libraries, if you are planning to add any libraries, then those goes into this section. And finally, this is the place for your executable file. So let me go to the main.c. So you can double click and open the main.c in the editor window. So now you can see I'm defining two macros. So instead of using port D directly, so what I did, since if you see the hardware, on the hardware, so you are having total 16 LEDs. So this is the PiximLab simulator board. So it's having total 16 LEDs. So currently we are going to toggle LEDs connected to the port D. These are the these are the 8 LEDs out of 16. So these 8 LED array we are going to toggle. Toggling means on off we are going to do. So now since I'm having 8 LEDs, I'm defining the micro LED array as a port D, and to give the direction to the port pins there is a register trace D. I'm defining that with name LED array data direction register. Now you can see here comes my main. So here I'm calling init config function. So this function is to do the initialization. So what we are doing, so in main itself we are not doing initialization. It doesn't look good. So there is a separate dedicated function to do the initialization. It is init config. So control will go here and here in this init config. So initially what we are doing, if we are using LED, we need to set the pin direction as output. So I'm writing my LED array data direction register as a 0. It will set port D pin as the output, and to start with initially I will keep all LEDs connected to the port D as a off. So to turn off the LED, I need to load 0. So I'm writing here 0. So LEDs remain off, fine. And here comes our while one. So if you see any embedded system, once you turn on the embedded system, it runs forever, right? It goes into infinite loop. So here come my infinite loop while one. So inside this while one, we are going to write our application. So what is our application? We wanted to toggle the LED. So here is my instruction to toggle the LED. So I'm writing LED array equal to tilt of LED array. So what it will do? It will toggle the values of this LED array. If it is 0, it will make it 1. If it is 1, it will make it 0. So now you can see. So this is what 0x00. So after execution of this instruction, this LED array value becomes 0xFF. So entire port becomes 0xFF. All port bits become 1. So all LED turn on. LEDs are going to be turned on. And here what I'm doing. So before going to this instruction once again, I'm putting the delay. So if this delay is not there, what happens? We will not be able to see the LED toggling. So it will happen at very faster rate. Due to the persistence of region, we will not be able to capture it. So I added the delay. Then after this delay, what happened? Next time, since we are in the while one, control will go back here. So again, we are changing the LED array value from what? FF to 0. So now what happened? LED become off, then again delay. So like this way, we are making LEDs on, LEDs off, fine. Now so we have to build the code, we have to compile the code. How we can do? So here in this mplab xid I install x8 compiler. So that's why this header file is also included related to the compiler. So now how you can do the build? So you can see here is one option to do the build. So let me click on that. It will start doing build. My project is getting a build. Now you can see build is going on. So it will take some time, please wait. Now see, build is successful. That means your hex file is created, and even it will give you the memory summary of your project. So now my hex file is created and it is loaded also. Now what we can do, so we can load that hex file where in this board. So we can run that hex file here in this microcontroller. So this is the heart of this board. So basically here we are using PIC16F877A microcontroller. So we are going to load the hex file here. How? So you can go to the file, you can select the load hex. You have to navigate wherever your project is stored. So let me navigate. So now, just for the sake of simplicity, I kept the project on the desktop. So let me select that. Now again, you have to go to the distribute directory. So basically, you have to use this path. After build successful, it is prompting the path where X file is available. I'm just referring that. Then you have to go to the default production. Here is the X file. Let me open. Okay, expected output is what? These LEDs should toggle, but it's not happening. Why? Because these DIP switch related settings are not done. So to turn on the LEDs connected to the port D, this DIP switch, second one, you have to pull this switch up. So let me do that. So it's down. You have to pull it up. So let me select. Now you can see the change here. So what this program is doing, it's running in this microcontroller and it is toggling the LEDs. And even we are able to see that toggling very clearly, right? Okay, so this is our program, our embedded code to toggle the LEDs connected to the port D. Fine.
All right, so this was a quick demo of how the microcontroller program is compiled and run using a simulator. So whoever is going to attend the course online will be provided a detailed introduction how to install and how to use the simulator as well as the IDE. So moving on, what I'll do is I will also share a demo of how the learning management system looks like. So learning management system is nothing but a web portal wherein you can access the course contents, including the materials like presentation slides, the source code, assignments, your attendance, project related information, and you'll also have something called as a discussion forum. So I'll quickly walk you through a demo of the LMS, learning management system. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a login of an existing student. I have used one of the students' logins and logged into the web portal. So every student will be enrolled to the modules for whichever course they are enrolled in. For example, this is embedded systems course. We call it as ECEP. On the left side, you can see the modules, various modules which the learner is enrolled in. So for now, I'll minimize this menu. So as of now, you can see that the student has has attended these modules, including advanced C, C++, data structures, etc. Okay, Linux internals and so on. So if I pick up one of the courses, which is advanced C, you can see an interface will open up for that specific module, wherein the student will be able to access his or her attendance. Okay, followed by, you can see there is a discussion forum. For example, anybody has any doubts, they can reach out to the mentors by posting questions in the discussion forum. Apart from using this discussion forum, they can also use the WhatsApp group, which we'll be creating for individual batches. So WhatsApp group is pretty helpful for students to pose questions after the class and lab sessions, right? Typically during the class you can ask doubts. During the lab sessions, which is going to be live sessions, you can ask your doubts and clarify them directly with the mentor. Otherwise, also when you're working on the assignments of or you're revising the concepts, you can still ask the doubts using the discussion forum and WhatsApp group. So all materials, including slides and recorded sessions, are also available in the LMS, Learning Management System. We can also see project-related information, and we also schedule quizzes or tests frequently for different modules. For example, this is C programming module, and we assign the students with around 5 objective tests. So idea of assigning the objective test to ensure that students are evaluated and they also know where they stand in terms of their understanding. Similarly, for every module, that's going to be a module test. This will comprise of objective and subjective questions as well as programming questions. So one of the core focus areas which we have during the course is assignments. It's not just that you attend the classes and understand the concepts theoretically, but it's very important that whatever concepts you understand, you're able to apply them and to make sure that you apply those concepts. We assign you with a lot of assignments in different modules. The C programming itself, you can see there are around, I would say, 50 assignments which you'll have to do as part of the module. Similarly, you have to work on the project and submit the project as well. So at the end of the module, we do take feedback, or whenever you have any basically feedback to be given, you can click on the feedback link and you can share your feedback with respect to the course. So this is about a snapshot or a quick overview of how students will be provided with the learning management system. So one more thing, you will also be provided with recorded videos. As you can see here, this is for data structure module. We are sharing the recorded videos. The recorded videos we can access, and whichever class you attended, you can watch those recorded videos. And similar to the discussion forum available, you can also access or get support from the mentors by posting your questions in the WhatsApp group. So this is a ECP course is one of the courses which we provide. We have ECP and ECIP. ECP stands for Embedded and ECIP stands for IoT course. So for every batch we create WhatsApp group. You can see a lot of WhatsApp groups are available in my login, and they can post their questions in the WhatsApp group. For example, one student asks like question, mentors will or your batchmates will also have a look at your doubt, and whoever is available will answer your queries. So this way you are going to get a support mechanism, not just during the class or lab, but during basically class and lab hours as well. So overall, it's going to be very beneficial for you in terms of learning experience. You saw the demo sessions wherein we are teaching details, the concepts in detail, using whiteboards, using code, etc. And discussion forum and WhatsApp group will definitely help you to clarify doubts. Similarly, with respect to placements also, we create a group for every company that visits our placement or campus drives, right? So for example, for Qualcomm, we have created different groups. Whenever the drive happens, we post like messages with respect to that company. We share, for example, questions, right? We can see tests are also assigned. Okay, so we also schedule tests with respect to that company. This is Qualcomm. Okay, this is as of maybe last week. We can see the scheduling tests, 1-2 tests, so that you are prepared. And you can also see that we are asking them to prepare in certain areas. So this is like live, it's happening, right? People are messaging. It's 10:17, right? People are responding still. So that's about the WhatsApp groups and the discussion forums in the LMS. If you have more questions, you can feel free to reach out to our course counselors. We can definitely share you more details. So over to you, Jay. You can continue.
Okay, thank you, Mubin. Let me.
Yeah, Jay, I'll be dropping out from the meeting.
Sure, Mubin. Sure, no problem.
Yeah,
I'll just.
all right.
Hey guys, I think it was quite a thing that you saw how Mubin has explained about the classroom part of it, where mentors explain the concepts, right? Then you get into the labs, and then where you demonstrate the code you saw, right? Then you saw the support, even if you saw at 10, 17 also there was message getting extended. So even if you say 9 to 7, right, students use it, even mentors, they come and tell me that they even asked out till 12 o'clock in the night and things like that. So, that way our goal is to ensure that you guys have the maximum takeaway when it comes to learning, right? And then you saw the learning management system where the entire material is there in terms of your recorded videos, assignments, quizzes, projects, etc. Right? Are you able to get a view how the online course gets delivered? I know it's quite late. Can you get some quick responses, guys? Okay, Sanket is telling yes. Understood, says now. Yeah, I know it's more past dinner time. And it applies to me also. Last probably few slides, then we will wrap up. Are you able to see my desk? Are you able to see my presentation slide? Is my screen visible? Because I switched. Okay, all right, yeah. So let me move to the last section now. Quickly, I think we'll close it soon. So we discussed a lot of aspects of so far. Like we saw, is online is effective as offline, cost effectiveness we discussed, and then pandemics. Anyways, hopefully we're out of it. And then learning through simulators, is it effective, right? And in terms of mentors we discussed, right? How the doubt clearing happens we saw, right? And then working professional, we discussed a lot of points, right? Pretty much we discussed almost all the questions. I just put it for our reference purpose, right? And then finally placements, we discussed quite at length, okay? But quickly I'll go through the process. So this is how your placement works. And the moment you join, as I showed the placement groups, let me show you that the Google group, right? Quickly go off. You saw that I think this forum you saw, right? Already, this is a Google group. All of you will be part of that group. You can see the entire information comes there in terms of the companies, right? Every day you can see, right? Yesterday, I think some 4-5 mails have been sent. Yesterday, many mails were sent, right? The entire information will be shared there, right? From companies coming, talking about the eligibility, shortlisting, who gets shortlisted, and then the shortlisted students will get a separate mail about what to do next, when is the interview. So our placement team will take care of the entire placement cycle until you get the offer letter, and then you report to your work on the first day. Okay, and here there are two possibilities are there. Am I audible? Can you just confirm once? All right, yeah, thank you. So entire cycle, our placement team will take care until you get placed, right? That's our placement team will work with you. And then, we answered a good amount of placement related queries also. Okay. Mostly we covered. And a couple of last 2 points, like as some of you will know, we are a affiliated institute with Skill India. So Skill India is Government of India skill building initiative, where our course is recognized by Skill India, where you being part of this particular course, you'll get an opportunity to get the certificate from Government of India, the NSDC or Skill India. I'll just show you a sample certificate. Okay, so this is the sample certificate which comes from Skill India. Then you need to go through an evaluation test to get the certificate. Anyways, for our students have got 100% pass rate. You don't need to worry. And this is a certificate from Skill India. And it comes from Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And especially if you are planning to apply abroad, or you want to have a certified from Government of India, this is another opportunity for you. Of course, we also give Emertxe certificates time to time. That's not an issue. So this is another opportunity for all of you. Yeah, I think we are on the last slide now. People ask me about the course dates. You can see in the screen. Our online regular course is starting on 26th April, and then our online evening is starting on 28th April, and then offline, that's a physical class, is starting on 29th. Okay, for May, you can roughly assume in the same pattern, 1 or 2 days here and there. Anyways, we'll start after 25th only. Specific dates of May will go up in the website after we start this particular batch. Okay, and then our counseling team's common number is given here, training@emertxe.com, and there are 2 numbers there, 809-555-7333, and then 809-555-7332. You can reach out to them. And what I'll also do is, like, after this webinar, I'll also send a note to my team, okay, whomever has attended today. Apart from, anyways, give me some time, maybe by early next week, we'll send a recorded video also. And also we'll arrange a call back with our counselor, so that in case if you still have any questions, you can clarify. And there is a question from Madhu. I paid fees, sir, but I have in some exams. Can we move to May batch, sir? Because it is difficult to manage work. That should be possible, Mohan. Just talk to our counseling team. They will help you. Okay. Because some students pay for this month, but they will join next month. That's fine. Okay. I also suggest you finish exams and then come fully prepared to our course, so that you can completely give your time to our course. Okay. So that's about it. Okay. I think some of you might be following us. In case if you are not, we are active in both LinkedIn and Instagram. So please do follow. We post whatever the data I shared you in terms of placement record, etc. That's a like summary of whatever is there in our social media. The same data you can see there also. Another option is to follow us on the LinkedIn page, and the website also is another good resource where you can check. Okay, so that's it, guys. I know today I really apologize for the delay initially due to the I think there was a button issue. I just figured it out when you go live, right? It didn't go live. Okay, there is a software issue. Now it's been corrected. I know it wasted about initial 10-15 minutes of time where we were checking, are you able to hear me or not hear me? I apologize for that. Hopefully the software behaves better next time. So thank you very much for staying late. I know it's not easy on a Saturday night, almost 10:30. We can go on, no problem, because we really love the interaction. Because for us, the slide remain the same, the content remain the same, but the type of questions what you guys ask me is what motivates me. Otherwise, for me, what, right? Same slide I'm moving, also same content we are going to present, right? Okay. So I sincerely hope this session has helped you. As the silver bullet I always tell, right? It is not necessary that you come to this passionate. We never say that, right? It's about present you with the complete information, so that you guys take the right decision for your career moving forward. Okay, it may not be this course, maybe that course, or maybe some other course. That's a different, a discussion, right? But as long as you take your decision by keeping your future in mind, right? I'm sure all of you will do very well in your career, right? So I really wish you all the best, whatever it is, right? So can I get some quick feedback? How did you find today's webinar? Madhu is telling very thankful for clarifying. I already got a lot of positive feedback from Prabhakaran. He wrote a paragraph. Thank you very much, Prabhakaran, for your feedback. Then William is telling thanks. Then no problem, sir. Webinar is very helpful. Thank you so much, says 5-star, says Sanket. Okay. Thank you, Sanket. Any quick feedback about the webinar? Thank you so much. Very helpful, says Guru. So as Shreya, webinar made it clear about what we should expect, William, okay. So thank you very much, guys, okay, for your time. And we'll send out, please do expect around early next week, we will, I need to cut the initial 20 minutes, right? Otherwise, even if you play, you'll always be hearing about, are you hearing? So I'll cut that piece with my team. We'll send out this via video also to you, and you can access it from YouTube. And then any queries, our team is available, and to support you. Okay. So thank you very much, and good night to all of you. Take care. Bye.